Hey guys, welcome back to the 11th Marvel Rivals Cozy Cash Cup sponsored by Avalanche. I am Manatee, your host for today, joined by my co-host Muff.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
And today we've got 8 fantastic teams playing in a double elimination best of one format for $500. The first place winner will be taking home $300 and second place will bag a nice $200 themselves. Looks like we've got a lot of new teams this Cozy Cash Cup, Muff. How are we feeling today?
I'm really excited. I'm jazzed about this. I think this is a really exciting cozy cash cup. We actually have some. You would call it a return from a few teams. You know, business as usual. We're seeing them. They had unfortunately dropped out in a previous cash cup, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. Um, yeah,
Yeah, and as we look at the bracket as it is currently, we can actually see the games that we'll be watching today. We'll start in the semifinals winners side, which is winners finals, with Aether versus Dawncore. We'll get into that game here in a little bit whenever they get the lobby set up. And we'll be going to losers round 3, losers round 4, and then finally grand finals in the winner's side. If the loser side team does win in grand finals, they'll have to play a second game. Otherwise, the team who is from the winner's side will win the entire tournament for that $300 prize pool. Before we get started, we can talk a little bit more about the map. I will leave it to you, Muff. Here, let's take a look at the map.
yeah. We're here on Clintar. Sorry, excuse me. Or yeah, Clintar, symbiotic surface. Everybody knows it, loves it. The convergence map. You have that center point right at the very, very beginning where you got both teams fighting to maintain dominance, and honestly, it really opens up the rest of the map for the attacking team. That first choke point is really hard to get through. If the attacking team can get a little bit tricky, get a little bit mixy, use that verticality, use the off angles that you can create through those choke points, I think they're going to find a lot of success on this map.
Yeah, I think the map is pretty great, and I think the teams are going to be ready here in a second. But before that, we did have a big balance patch here for the Season 4 update. And we can swap over here. Real fast here to some of the changes. Not included here is Angela, who is the new character that is a tank from... or I guess it is a tank from Asgard in the case of the Marvel Rivals universe, but should have, maybe we'll see some play, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll get to see it in these future games if teams do want to pick her up. So yeah, we'll be getting into the games here in a second. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the team up Smuff here? I'll swap over to it for you.
Yeah, so we've actually got a new team up with I believe it's Angela and Thor, the
Angela and
Divine
Thor, yep.
Armory. Yeah, that one is going to be incredible to see if we happen to see Angela tonight, which I don't. I'm like you said earlier, I'm not entirely sure about that one. We have removed the Magic and Psylocke. Excuse me, the Magic and Psylocke.
Oh, Black Panther team up, yeah.
Yeah, Black Panther team up. Sorry, I'm looking at the graphics as Psylocke. That was my fault. Changed.
Not you. You're
We
good.
have Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Magic. It's been just kind of swapped around a little bit, and then you have Gamma Charge with Namor and Black Panther and Hulk. It's also been, I mean, some people are calling it a soft buff, some people calling it a soft nerf. It just kind of remains to be seen in high-level team play.
Yeah, let's see. We'll get into the game here. Between Aether and Dawncore, it is going to be on Symbiotic Surface, a convergence map. So we'll have to see how teams want to approach it. We do see on the side of Dawncore, they are all hovering Angela, but they do ban that Human Torch. Human Torch did not get a ton of changes, but is incredibly impactful in organized play and in high elo, where people can kind of abuse his animation cancels with his primary fire, his melee, and his fly, essentially letting him be a very hard to hit target that hits very hard himself. And
Yeah, he's
as
really exciting to watch.
yeah, he is exciting to watch, but very strong, so I'm excited to see a game without him, honestly, but since we didn't see any of him today, I guess I can't really say too much about that, but with the Mantis ban here from the side of Aether, Mantis is very good, and getting a buff coming into this patch, it is not the most surprising thing to see.
No, and also we see that Emma Frost Protect come out as well. You know, I think she's honestly probably among the top tier tanks, probably like the strongest tank in competitive team play. She's just got a really good kit. She's really good at pulling people, especially with her ultimate. She can pull you right around corners and just cause absolute mayhem on the front lines. So, you know, I love to see her get protected. Then we also see the group protect go out. I imagine that's for Tree Man. Tree Man is a group main. He is actually a really, really great player. So it'll be really fun to see his group gameplay come out.
Yeah, the name checks out, as they say, and with that Wolverine ban, it does seem they do want to build this composition a bit more heavily around Groot, as Groot does get kind of mauled by that Wolverine. But with the Emma Frost being pretty good into Groot herself, it is going to be kind of interesting to see how Dawncore wants to approach it, especially with Aether banning that Magneto, a pretty solid, I guess, more supportive tank pick that really can help protect that Groot. And with that Psylocke protection, Psylocke did get a nerf coming into this patch, so I am a little surprised to see it. Her secondary fire, the returning kunai damage ability, got its return damage reduced by I think 20, so it's like pretty significant reduction in damage. I do not believe she is able to one-shot 250 health targets with that double left click, right click dash combo. So we'll kind of have to see how she kind of falls out. And with Dawncore protecting this Winter Soldier, I am pretty excited, especially since Winter Soldier is a very strong pick. Well, used to be a very strong pick, a little bit less so recently, but with the buff to his new dash, which grounds enemies, prevents them from using dashes for 1 second after he hits that, it should be pretty effective in dealing with flankers like Psylocke. So we'll have to see if how effective that's going to be for Dawncore. And with that Captain America buff, definitely limiting the tank pool quite a bit, especially since we have Magneto and Captain America gone. We'll have to see how teams kind of want to approach it. And Aether really does not like that triple support composition. Getting both Mantis and that Ultron off the board, yeah. They are not a fan.
You know, that was actually a really good point you made about the Bucky protect, given the fact that they protected the Psylocke, you know, particularly with Psylocke being so heavy on the flanks and on the back angles. You know, you just have one Bucky who knows what they're doing, and they just have really good crisp call-outs, and, you know, you can really make that Psylocke's life a nightmare.
Yeah, and with with Human Torch banned, I definitely do expect to see Phoenix and Human Torch being most likely the two strongest characters on this patch for DPS. So it is not surprising to see both teams wanting to pick this Phoenix up. And I think for Dawncore, they did swap over to this Penny and Rocket, just so they can get that extra health packs and maybe the jump packs from that team up. Especially since I believe those are empowered with the team up. So we'll have to see what they end up picking in finality as the round starts. We do see this Punisher. I'm curious to see how good it's going to be. And yeah, it does look like Aether is going to commit to playing the Psylocke.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun to see. I fully expect Smooksy? I hope I'm saying that right. I fully expect him to kind of lock down these front angles. If anybody is going to, from Dawn, is going to be trying to, or Dawncore, excuse me, is going to be trying to find any off angles or flanks to try and get in there and use that verticality, they're going to find a really, really tough time.
Yeah, tries to get a bunch of damage, but to get found by Tree Man, immediately gonna have to back up a little bit to his team. This fight a little bit more spread out for both of these teams, as we see Castle kind of trying to get that flank there, but does get picked off by Dawncore. Nicely done. As well as Frost finding that follow-up pick there on Netroid. Yeah, Netroid. A little bit unfortunate there. We do see Aether kind of falling apart to this pressure.
Yeah, and Dawncore absolutely pushing forward. They're just taking control at this point. They're seizing control, and they're pushing forward, trying to get some of these picks, trying to get a little bit of a break to the rhythm of Aether here. And I think that they're going to lock it down and secure it right here.
Yeah, Savatak with some solid aiming there on the Punisher. The Punisher from the side of Aether does not match it, as there is a lot of people looking at him from the side of Dawncore. And as we see here, Dawncore taking the space onto the second point. They're going to try to take this high ground. It does look like Aether is going to be able to hold it for a little bit, but definitely push back a bit. A lot of these picks coming out for Dawncore really building a lot more space.
Yeah, Aether really needs to get both of their tanks to kind of set their feet in the ground and establish control of some sort of area on this map. Otherwise, they're going to have a really hard time. So they're constantly fighting from the backfoot here.
Yeah, Smooksy finding some value off of that Psylocke dance, the butterfly ultimate. And as we see Castle going down here with his own dive, we're going to see Dawncore back up here. Losing that one person on the initial fight, definitely going to try to regroup and see if they can get a better fight going here.
Yeah, they're playing really careful here. I don't know if I like how safe they're kind of playing, but, you know, it might actually play out to their advantage here. And you see that Luna Snow ult go out as well on top of that Punisher ult.
Yeah, that Punisher finding that pick there really early. Gonna be followed up with the Psionic Seduction for both sides. Frozen gonna look for some big damage with this Winter Soldier Kraken Impact. Does get one for the reset. Let's see what we can get here. That's gonna be a clone for the second reset. Gonna go up the top. Can he find the Psylocke? He does get the hit, but does not have any follow-up. He doesn't have any more ult here, but it is a very, very solid play there from Dawncore.
Yeah, Dawncore is just, again, moved up, trying to take control, take space on this map, trying to establish control of this next and last final point before they make the push to get to the final point.
Yeah, this group from Treeman really building a ton of space for Dawncore. As you saw, they're blocking off the Emma Frost from retreat. I want to see how Aether is going to approach this as we see Castle move over to his own group. Dawncore, in contrast, actually is going to go on this Doctor Strange, maybe to try to portal, but gonna swap back. Let's see how they're going to push this last point. Can Aether actually find a little bit of composure here? As you can tell, they're a bit flustered here.
Yeah, let's see if Treeman here can group diff Castle. Castle is saying, hey, look, you know, I see you and I respect your group, but I raise you my group. And then also you have Smokesy in here getting some really fat damage and making good plays, trying to just kind of rattle this Dawncore and break up their rhythm here because they have been absolutely foot to the floor the whole time.
Yeah, and pretty strong stopping power there from Aether, but that was maybe actually just one ultimate there committed from the side of Aether. Dawncore gonna have about 5 or 4 ultimates coming here. Castle's gonna be looking for his Groot ultimate matched by that Invisible ultimate. Here comes a bunch of offensive and defensive ultimates from both sides. Let's see which team gets the picks here. Dawncore losing one, Aether losing their tank, however. And as these offensive ultimates from Aether go down, we're gonna see Frost in here on the Winter Soldier just kind of take control of the game. That's 2. He's going for 3 with that Kraken Impact. That is 3. Can he get any more? But there is nothing more to get as Aether falls apart. Nicely done there from Dawncore.
Yeah, Frost showing why his team protected that Bucky. That Bucky is making all the difference right now. Being able to get in there, mix it up, lock down those players. And you notice whenever he locks them down, the whole team just comes down on top of them. So you know that those callouts are really crispy in Discord. And shout outs to Aether, they are really trying to figure out how to get this motion stopped.
Yeah, 3 offensive ultimates here coming out from the side of Aether. We do see this Punisher ultimate Final Judgment following the Psionic Seduction from Rip, and as we see there are 4 picks now on the side of Dawncore. That's going to be a pretty big reset. And Dawncore here has 3 minutes, so they have a lot of time to make this play happen. And with 2 ultimates down from the side of Aether, Dawncore will be at a 2 to 3 ultimate advantage here coming into the next fight.
Yeah, Aether's got their feet planted here. This is a really hard choke point to push through, even if you have all of the motion, you know, going in your favor. It's going to be really fun to watch how the rest of this match plays out. We have 3 minutes for Dawncore to push to the final point, or for Aether to make their final stand.
Here comes the dance of the butterfly. The sports here in the corner going to try to keep each other alive, as we do see a pick there from Aether onto one of the DPS from Dawncore, but Dawncore finding 2 of their own. Here comes out a big ultimate from Treeman, followed up with that Bucky ultimate. Can they get any picks here to get the reset? There goes the reset. Tim calling with his own defensive ultimate so they can dive super deep. That's going to be 3. That's going to be 4. That should be basically it. Maybe we see Aether getting one more fight here with a strange portal or just walking out here, but it's going to be a little bit sus here coming out. And as Dawncore is getting their ultimates back up once again, they're going to have a lot of stopping power to keep them in their spawn here, Aether.
Yeah, I don't see this train stopping anytime soon. You see, honestly, both teams are trying to just hold out those last 2 support ultimates because they're going to need them. They're going to need them. Things are going to get a little bit mixy here. You see Castle here, also big Groot ult going out right now.
Yeah, it's going to be one that's
value out of it.
Yeah, it's good value, but that is a lot of ultimates. That's 2 ultimates already spent. Immediately, Dawncore gonna get routed here pretty completely. Only the Punisher stays alive at the end, and Aether not gonna have a ton of ultimates here to play with, but there is a minute 30 left on the clock. If they win this next fight, economically, they should be in a great spot to hold out on the 3rd point.
Yeah, they're gonna need a really big pick here to make anything or any kind of miracle actually happen.
4 ultimates here from Dawncore, though. Here comes out the early Psionic Seduction, trying to keep them in their spawn as long as possible. A minute 20 left on the clock. Can they get Treeman here? This would be a big pick. That's not going to be it, though. That's actually really, really bad. They did pick 1 DPS, but we're going to see Donkor kind of just climb up here, really push that space as there is no ultimates for Aether, and Donkor can really threaten with some of their own here. Let's see how fast they can get here. 1 more minute left on the clock. They are like 30-40 meters from the cart here. And as they're pushing up here, we do see this Psynox Seduction come out, isolates the support. Here comes out the Phoenix Ult, isolates the backline of Aether. Does end up getting 2 picks on Donkor. Aether only losing 1 of their own. But let's see if Frosting can get anything, or if Donkor is going to go for 1 more reset. Only 40 seconds left on the clock. They better be fast.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if you managed to catch that, but Aether, I didn't catch who did it, but Tim went to go pop his ultimate for Cloak and Dagger, go give his team that space, and he got popped out of it. That was really clutch for Aether.
Yeah, I didn't get to follow that up, but that's really big. There's going to be that Cloak and Dagger ult maybe up again, but that definitely does stall the tempo. Coming up on the side here is Donkor. Can they find Aether out of position here on the cart? We see both teams kind of jockeying for space here as Donkor is going to drop from the top and behind, and we do see this Punisher a little bit out on space. Here comes out this Punisher ultimate with this Groot ultimate. Let's see how much damage they can get. Both of the Invisible Moments are out now, with 3 defensive ultimates here from the side of Donkor. What did they get? That's another Groot ult. Immediately killed. There is that DPS from the side of Donkor. But Aether loses 2. That's 1 DPS, 1 tank down. Here comes out more defensive ults from Aether. Nothing left from Donkor. They will probably fall apart here in a second. Here comes out this Phoenix ult straight onto the middle of the cart. No kill on that Luna Snow. So that's not going to do too much here. Donkor going to follow with their own. No more juice in the tank for either teams. Here comes out this Iron Fist to try to stall as well. Let's see what either team can get. Not a lot of kills. Here comes that Strange Portal for the reinforcements. Let's see what they can get. We do see 2 picks coming out from each side. Donkor going to keep 1 more alive though. And Aether loses 3. That should be the rest of the fight over.
Oh my goodness. It was getting so crazy there. I still want to see that Iron Fist in competitive play again. You know, I think that would have been really fun to see, but that was a incredible end to that match.
A very hectic hold, basically going to overtime there. And yeah, I mean, that is a full 3-point push, but if we see Aether push their own, it definitely could make for a very interesting match. And we'll have to see how both teams want to approach it. Does Donkor want to keep this Bucky? Bucky did use his ult in that last fight, but got picked immediately. Very nice targeting there from the side of Aether. It gave them a lot of life going into that last fight, and not a lot of people died. Even with that nerf to the Luna Snow ultimate, that Luna Snow ultimate really keeping both teams alive here. And yeah, I think Donkor is a little bit better at economizing their support defensive ultimates. But I think Aether is finding a little bit of these upsides in these earlier parts of the fight, really jockeying for space and finding the extra picks early. So we'll kind of have to see how both teams want to approach it. Both Treeman and I think Castle was using their Groot ults very effectively, finding a lot of people, but with that Invisible ultimate keeping their team alive, those Groot ultimates become a lot less effective. But usually we do still see 1 or 2 picks from maybe comboing it with a Punisher ult.
Yeah, honestly, if Aether can just really tighten up just a little bit and polish up their gameplay here, I think they can find some massive success. I do think Donkor, I agree with your assessment, Donkor is at this stage right now, they are better at managing their ultimates and their economy just a little bit better.
I like this little cheeky play here from the side of Donkor, really using that Groot wall to get some really interesting positionings, getting some of that early information, as well as breaking that top wall so they can hold that high ground on the right side, prevent players like Smokesy from coming out on the side. And want to see how these fights kind of open up, as Smokesy is definitely zoned out here by this Punisher, the natural predator to the Psylocke. Blitz jumps down to his team to try to peel off that Venom. Nice pull there from the side of SE Legend. Does end up finding that early pick.
Yeah, Frost is just kind of back here on the point, just holding it down right now. He hasn't managed to find any real success with his smoke.
Yeah, not a lot of kills, but a lot of pressure, really keeping people out of the space for his team. But here comes the big dive there from Smooksy. He does end up finding 1 with his team, but Frostin shuts that down immediately. That Venom probably not going to find too much more, although we do see Donkor did lose 1 of their tanks. That is the 2nd tank down, so no more frontline, and that should be a full rout of Donkor.
Yeah, Donkor's going to have to go back, reassess, and figure out, you know, what's going to work and what's not going to work against this team, because Aether actually managing to really respond to, you know, basically anything Donkor is kind of thrown at them, you know, barring that last match right there. So this is actually, it's kind of like a immovable object meets the unstoppable force kind of situation. This is a really, really great matchup.
Yeah, a lot of ultras there for this Phoenix here. A bunch of damage coming out, and that's going to be pretty great for the side of Dawncore. Gonna have that Phoenix ultimate here pretty soon, and should be a pretty team fight if they do want to commit it. I think Castle is doing a great job on this Venom, really building this pressure for his team. Forcing the side of Aether to be very, very cautious, playing together a lot. I think Frostin definitely wants to be more on the side here, dueling that Psylocke, definitely not finding a ton of kills on the Psylocke as he would like, but definitely still doing a great job. Oh, nice shutdown there on the side of Dawncore, finding Rip, trying to use that Psionic Seduction, immediately gets picked off here. Dawncore gonna lose 2 of their own though, as a nice follow-up from this Winter Soldier. This Kraken Impact finding 2. Phoenix ult gonna shut that down immediately though.
Yeah, and Aether is just sitting here gathered on the point, just holding it down right now. Just, you know, both teams taking, you know, it's kind of like a 1-to-1 pick here and there, and they're just kind of slowly inching their way up on this map. They're finding success in the close range battles, and you see a Invisible Woman ultimate go out as well right there. That is going to be really huge for Dawncore. It's going to allow them to get the space that they need on this choke point. They might actually be able to turn this fight around.
Yeah, let's see if Treeman can find a big ult here. That might be the big changing moment here for Dawncore. Dawncore losing 1 already though. The Phoenix, that's going to be a big amount of damage that could have been used. And Aether really finding their footing here on the attack side. That's 3 picks, 4 picks. That should be a very easy cleanup there. And with that 4th, 5th, and 6th pick, that should be the second point basically guaranteed.
Yeah, Aether out here is just like a well-oiled machine, you know. The guy got the foot to the floor. They've hit 6th gear, and they're not stopping right now. You got Castle pushing up right now. He's going to just kind of poke, kind of make, you know, Dawncore stay on their toes this entire time. Smokesy's going to do the same thing. Smokesy's going to probably find a little bit more success on those off angles. I mean, I don't know if he's really interested in playing any of those off angles at the moment. Here we go.
Yeah, 4:45 left on the clock as they start on the 3rd point. Here comes Smokesy on the side. Doesn't have ultimate, does have a lot of value. Here comes Frostin, looking for his own ult as we see the Winter Soldier ult from the side of Aether come out. That's a second reset here. Frostin gonna get taken out by his own counterpart. Here comes the 3rd ultimate. Cloak and Dagger gonna try to stay alive, but nice follow-up there. Really showing the patience of this Winter Soldier player. And here comes out the 3rd pick, keeping them in their spawn. Another Winter Soldier ult to stall, but nicely done from the side of Aether.
Yeah, just Chob out here is just really, I like how aggressive he is. He's not really kind of like exposing himself too much. He's playing his life very well, but he's also making it enough to where he's got constant damage output, and he's constantly building his ultimate. Like, there's really not been much downtime between him and his ultimate build-up. And also, I don't know if you've noticed or not, Aether has kind of, you know, been staying ahead on the ultimate resource there.
Yeah, and as we see both of these defensive ultimates come up from the side of Aether and Dawncore. Here comes out Treeman with a big ultimate of his own. That's a big root ult 4-3. This one is still gonna have to run away, but probably just gonna end up stalling herself out a little bit. Well, Castle is gonna be the last man surviving, just gonna run away here. Actually, never mind, the Psylocke was still on point. But a big reset there for Dawncore. 3 minutes left on the clock for Aether, but a lot of ultimates from the side of Dawncore to keep them away.
Yeah, it's looking like last match. You know, we had 3 minutes left. Both teams are kind of, or yeah, I believe it was Dawncore. They were at the same exact spot. This is gonna get interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how both teams want to approach this. We do have both of the Kraken impacts from both teams. Not a ton of ultimate support from the side of Dawncore or Aether. Only one strategist ultimate up right now. Here comes a Psionic Seduction, covered by that invisible boundary. Rip not only gonna find too much here, gonna run into the team. Dawncore gonna commit this Kraken impact right as the ultimate's end. Here comes out. That's 2 from Frostin. Let's see if he can find more. That's a 3rd kill. Gonna go on the strategist again. Does he get this reset? Doesn't get the reset, but that is basically a full route. Nice knock up to the back here. That's gonna be a very long reset if he gets this kill. That's gonna be 10 extra seconds for Aether to spend to walk back to point.
That's incredibly huge. That, you know, anytime that you can space out the support players and make their respawn times a little bit longer, a little bit more off rhythm, if you as you would say, it's way massive.
Yeah, nothing left for the Sun of Dawncore though. They're basically all out of gas, and Aether does have one more ultimate here. Let's see if Smokesy can find anything on the Psylocke ultimate. The Stance of the Butterfly better find one or two. Maybe a strategist would really open up the game for them here. But as I said, oh, actually, nice pick there on Tim right before this ultimate is committed. So there's basically very little healing coming out from the side of Aether. Any damage is basically permanent. And with that extra kill on the DPS, it does look like a very commanding lead here for this fight for Aether here.
Yeah, you see a really big group ult go out, but I don't know if he really got much value off of that. And ult, excuse me, Invisible Woman and Punisher ult covering that. Let's see if we can get any value out of it. Chav is just out here shooting into the wind right now.
That was a great IF overload.
Yeah, it was. He gets the team wipe, shuts it down.
Over the top. The incredible Doctor
really
Strange
good.
ultimate. Incredible Doctor Strange ultimate. That really opened up the fight. I didn't even see the Strange. I was looking at the perspective of one of the backline players of Dawncore and on the side of Aether. We saw Castle come out of nowhere, hitting that huge Eye of Agamotto, sending them straight back to the spawn room. And as I was talking about a little bit earlier, Aether with 2 minutes on the clock, Dawncore only gonna get one of their own as they went to overtime, pushing to that third point. So let's see how both teams are going to approach this. We do have Aether here on the defense. Initially, Dawncore gonna have their own attack phase. We did see that from the side of Dawncore, they did very, very well on attack. So let's see how far they can get here and if Aether will be able to match them.
Yeah, I'm looking up here. I'm looking at the sorry, excuse me, the compositions up here. Oh, I really like Aether's choice here. I really like Aether's choice.
I'm curious to think about why they decided to switch to this Hulk Namor composition now. Maybe it's a little bit out of what I would expect here. They didn't really see too much dive heavy stuff as they were the ones running the Psylocke, but maybe they didn't really think that Psylocke was doing as well on defense at least. And against Dawncore was running a very solid front to back composition, so I'm not entirely sure how effective this Namor will be, but definitely quite annoying, especially with that damage boost with this Luna Snow. Should be very, very effective at one-shotting those strategists.
Yeah, Frost coming out heavy.
Much better.
Also, we already see Sack at 15%.
Yeah, Savitech putting a lot of damage are gonna come up here on the right top side. Oh, nice push there from the side of Aether. Actually, does slow him down quite a few seconds there. A lot of ult charge as well for that Invis woman.
Oh yeah, I love it. You have the Netroid back here doing work right now. Just so focused on keeping his team alive, trying to get them to get into position to make a play, make something happen here.
Yeah, Sap walking a little bit too far forward and now walks a single foot straight into the grave. Back to the respawn room, and that's going to be a lot of time. Only 7 seconds left on the clock. Dawncore's going to have to commit, and they're going to have to commit now. Who's going to drop on the point? We do see this Emma Frost drop on the point. Frost getting a lot of damage as the walls are blocking the healing from the side of Aether. Ends up losing one of Sapik. Again, on the respawn, this Namor actually finding a ton of value, kind of being more of an assassin. Here comes Smokesy. Oh, using the melee cancel tech to get a bunch of damage onto the backline, basically one-shotting one of the strategists. The other one has to run for the hill. The Aether really finding their footing here on the defense.
Yeah, I really like this. I think they've kind of found their confidence. They've woken up. You know, sometimes you just need to get smacked in the mouth to wake up, and I think this is one of those cases. Aether just really showcasing that that first match might have just been a fluke.
Yeah, and honestly, Aether showing some fancy footwork here with this composition swap. And as we say here, Dawncore, they might have a cool plan. They're definitely looking for that flank over the side. Maybe more standard play, but getting slowed down. But you know what they say, a good plan always gets stopped by a punch to the face. And definitely Aether really showing that stopping power in their composition. The Invis-Woman push early in the round, disassembling their formation as they try to jump up with Treeman and that wall. But yeah, they kind of fell apart. Their Sap getting picked off twice. A really unfortunate time to get picked off. So we're going to have to see how Dawncore recovers here on defense. They got 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. Dawncore cannot afford to let Aether get super close, as they only need, I believe, just 1 tick here. So yeah, it's going to be really hard for the side of Dawncore, but we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, I think Aether's plan here is to go out, get a pick really early on, and just put the pressure onto the point as quickly as possible. I'm curious to see how they're going to make use of the angles that Dawncore actually didn't use. Like you pointed out earlier, you know, Sap unfortunately getting picked off twice early there was actually really critical in not really finding much success for his team there. So
Ooh,
we'll see.
Smokesy using that new team up, that Gamma team up with this Hulk. Oh, let's see how it goes. This Black Panther could be really, really effective into the composition of Dawncore. Look at this. We had this Adam Warlock basically free for this Black Panther. We're going to have to see if Smokesy can find anything. This is the big decision maker, I think, for the Aether composition. Very different than what they were running before. And Dawncore, kind of interesting as well. They do have triple support competition. Definitely want to have higher sustain here. Treatment a little bit out of position. Oh, gets pulled by the Emma Frost wall. Straight into the wall. It's a bunch of damage, but stays alive. Emma Frost now out on her own. Left to dry by her team. That support there from the Hulk, though, keeps everyone alive. Sap actually fighting this Namor on the side and doing a pretty good job. Not much support there for Namor. Getting healed up a little bit, but where is Smokesy? He's out, like, on the side here. Actually pushes the backline all the way back. Almost dies himself, but does get back to the point. Aether does build a lot of space here on the point. There's not too much left for Dawncore. Nice.
Oh, it's so huge.
Nice Gamma, whatever it's called there, that sends him to the banished realm. And with Aether having that early ultimate, I don't think Dawncore can hold on.
Yeah, and Aether just shutting it down, showing why they were the top team this match. That was just actually really incredible. As soon as Smokesy got that pick on Tree Man, it was kind of all over there. The rest of the team just kind of fell apart behind Tree Man. And
yeah, excellently played there from both teams, but I really, really liked how Aether was so flexible and just the way that they played. They really adjusted well to their composition changes.
Yeah, it seemed like they actually had a game plan for this evening versus just kind of going in and you know, just relying on what you're good at.
Yeah, not to say that Dawncore did poorly either. I think they did really well. Their execution was honestly incredible. Frostin and Sap comboing with Tree Man doing a great job, but unfortunately just kind of falls apart a little bit from Aether. Aether really kind of mixing up their composition, making it hard, keeping Dawncore on their toes. And yeah, I think that was one of the big differences between them winning this game and losing this game.
Yeah, and looking at the stat sheet here, you know, it didn't come down to healers. It didn't come down to just raw DPSers. I think it really just came down to overall team play here and just really creating opportunities and seizing on those opportunities that you find you find yourself in. Because whenever I believe it was was it Sap, or I believe it was SE Legend actually fell into the point the previous match or the previous round ago.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and that just kind of caused a little bit of a cascade effect, and you know, it's kind of heartbreaking to see because you know both you know, players at that level, you know, they're just probably kicking themselves in the butt. But both teams played their hearts out. That was an incredible match for the first match tonight.
Yeah, and getting back to the bracket, we will be going into this next game here on the loser side semifinals. And yeah, we'll be there in a second whenever we end up finishing the last... Actually, no, that was actually the match that we were waiting for. So we will be getting this next match here pretty soon, actually, between Outlast and Busy at Work on the loser side. I will be swapping over to their game here in a second. But while we wait, let us see what the next map will be. I will let you guys know here in a second. Oh, actually, we might be going pretty quickly into this game, but yeah, actually, we don't know what the map is. I will hand it off to you, Muff, here in a second whenever I get this set up.
Yeah, if I read my script right, I see that we should be on Domination Hydra.
Yeah, we're on Hell's Heaven for this next game here between Outlast and Busy at Work. We'll be actually getting into the game here right now, but you want to talk a little bit more about this map, Muff?
Yeah, this is a really dynamic map. We have, I don't know what you would call each version, but you have the giant version that has it looks like a shield generator in the middle, both teams fighting over it, and then it's got the subway car in the middle with the wall that the teams can break. I think this map overall just has a lot of really awesome opportunities to create other flanking opportunities, and also to not only just kind of create a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of open space here both teams can capitalize on and can make use of, so it makes for really fun gameplay. And also on this part of the map in particular, you know, everybody appreciates a good map fall, right? You know, if somebody gets pushed in or pulled into the map or into the lava, you know, we love to see it.
Yeah, and we're gonna be getting into this match here in a few seconds, so I will see you guys there right now. Oh, it's still loading in. I think you guys noticed there was the new UI for the Marvel Rivals spectating mode. I thought it was pretty incredible, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. And as we get into this match between Busy at Work and Outlast on Domination, the King of the Hill game mode, we do see here from the side of Outlast hovering some interesting characters, although I'm not entirely sure if they are going to be the characters they want to play.
Yeah, I see that as a common theme inside of these tournaments quite often is, you know, both teams trying to kind of float characters that they want the other team to think that they're trying to play so that they can kind of induce the ban. But what I've kind of found in these cozy verse tournaments is these teams tend to do their homework on each other, and they tend to know what each person mains. So it kind of makes for a little bit more of a fun ban experience.
Yeah, Outlast returning from the last tournament, 3rd place in the last Cozy Cash Cup number 10. And as they're playing against Busy at Work, who did sign up, I believe it was for Cozy Cash Cup number 9, but did not make it. So this is a match that might have actually happened in the past, but never ended up happening. So we get to see a pretty cool match between these two. And looking at the bands, we see the Human Torch band, we see the Bucky and the Winter Soldier band now. And with Phoenix protected and Lunastone protected, it should be a pretty standard poke like front to back game. And with Venom banned, Outlast definitely does not want to play against anything that really moves their positioning.
Yeah, so you're going to be kind of looking to see perhaps each team is going to want to try and protect somebody that's going to kind of like make use of the space that's going to be able to be created from Cloak and Dagger. I'm a Cloak and Dagger main myself, as well as a Luna main. And I think that her ultimate creates so much space and allows for your team to just kind of really take control of whatever kind of area of the map you're in.
Yeah, okay, so triple support maybe from the side of Busy at Work, but I'm definitely smelling a Groot here from both teams. That's we do see that Bucky getting banned. We see that Emma Frost getting banned. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wolverine ban here, but no, a Mantis ban. Definitely going to shut down that triple support before it gets started. But Busy at Work, let's see if they want to ban something like a Wolverine. I think Groot would be a really strong tank here. Maybe he's not the strongest at the moment, but definitely still a threat. Let's see what Busy Work wants to do. Do they want to ban something like Ultron? But that feels like it cuts into their triple strategist composition. So what would be the ideal counterplay here? Maybe a DPS pick, I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Ooh,
okay, Magic.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure how
said
strong
Punisher,
Magic
maybe.
is with the new ban or with the new team up. And she did get a little bit of compensation since she did lose that 15% damage bonus for being the team up anchor for that Magic Black Panther team, the team up. But yeah, Magic is really good at shutting down strategists. So maybe Busy at Work really leaning towards that triple strategist strength. Outlast, though, as we can see here, are going to go a bit more heavy on that Gamma team up. We see that Black Panther didn't really do too much in the last game, as we saw, but still very effective at being annoying, just being present.
Yeah, and I mean that's what Black Panther really excels at, right? Is just kind of getting in there and just being an absolute nuisance the entire time. He's kind of like Spider-Man, but a little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit more well-rounded, like as like a balanced, just kind of like Gnat, right? He's just going to constantly be in there, in and out, in and out, in and out, and he's not going to be far. So you're going to have to constantly be on your toes and keep your head on a swivel at all times.
Yeah, I think as well, compared to something like a Spider-Man, Panther is a lot more lethal. I think he kills people super fast, and even if he is in quite a bit, compared to something like Spider-Man, which definitely wants to pull people out of position, I think Panther feels like a constant threat. He's just everywhere all at once, but the second he shows up, he's gone in an instant, right? And Busy at Work here, gonna show off this triple strategist composition. Jeff getting that big buff on his ultimate, having a big healing field when he uses it, being a bit more of a traditional support style, and both teams kind of sitting back, using the portal to scout out both of their teams. From the side of Outlast, a portal directly to point. Well, Busy at Work cancels their own. Busy at Work gonna take this left side of the point here, this lower ground. And as we see, both of these strangers jumping on the point to contest here. Let's see which tank can hold the space. Here comes Captain America, actually from behind, gonna go straight onto one of the strategists from the side of Outlast, but not gonna find anything.
Yeah, I like this. Both teams are kind of like testing each other right now. They don't want to kind of like overcommit to anything at the moment, but right now you see kind of the Black Panther is trying to isolate that Luna, and he didn't really get much success there.
Yeah, both of these teams kind of playing pretty slow here, even with these pretty explosive picks here. deciding to play very, very conservative and not really diving too deep. But here goes that Jeff finding a pick immediately because Captain America gonna try to run into the backline of Outlast, but with very little support left. That's two people from the side of Busy at Work getting picked here. Gonna just kind of be a wet noodle.
Yeah, I think Axie's gonna probably have to either die right here, or he's gonna have to try and get out and reset.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what Axtree is getting a ton of value for his team. He's just being incredibly obnoxious. I guess the defensive ultimate has a lot of value here, but Outlast really taking these picks all out on the side. Putting Busy at Work straight back to the spawn room.
Yeah, they're really finding a hard time getting through that first little choke point right there now. I think kind of Outlast has really dug their heels in on this point, and they've kind of like figured out what's kind of working for them, what's not. You see that Black Panther again finding a lot of success, just getting in and out, and you also see Redis with a big Jeff ultimate going out. Is he gonna manage? Gets one, gets two, gets three. That's huge for Busy at Work. Redis manages to get a huge ultimate. Excuse me, a huge ultimate pick right there. And it looks like Busy at Work's gonna go ahead and flip this point.
Yeah, Reed is really being the MVP of that fight. That new Jeff ultimate, being really good at supporting his team, but also great at killing people. We saw one person die inside the stomach of that Jeff, the land shark. The other two getting yeeted straight off the side of the map. Jeff being really evasive, pretty good at healing, and honestly now having a very powerful offensive and defensive ultimate. Finding a lot of value for this Busy at Work team. Here goes Tammuz popping that Hulk ultimate. Gonna try to find some value with this Hulk smash. Gonna actually have to play pretty far back with this Monster Hulk. Not getting a ton of value here. Gonna just take a ton of damage. That big hitbox really soaking up. And here comes Felicity to keep that Bruce Banner alive. Barely keeps him alive, but at the same time, Busy at Work losing one of the strategists. Here comes out the Namor ultimate. Damage boosted. Not Tyrell sent straight back to the spawn room with that one.
Yeah, and Outlast walked right in, and it looks like they're actually going to give a chance to potentially flip this point. They're halfway right now, but also Busy at Work is really putting them on their toes, telling them, hey, look, you know, we know that you're here to ball out, you're here to get that $300, but you're going to get through us first.
Yeah, this Jeff actually finding quite a bit of damage, not just healing. Definitely this shark a bit more bloodthirsty than the other ones we have seen in the Cozy Catch Cup, and here comes out another Jeff ult potentially if he wants to, but big Ayamoto from Prince. That's two immediately off the back. Only one actually no strategist left. They swapped actually no, they were not on the triple strategist comp originally, and Busy at Work finding Tammuz here. That's a big stagger. 10 more seconds that Outlast is gonna have to wait.
I love to see it. Busy at Work is just having a good time, and you can tell it looks like they're having a really good time right now. Redis is being seemingly more of a nuisance than that Black Panther pick was, and it seems like Black Panther is no more, as he's kind of been taken off the board right now for Namor.
Yeah, Redis on this Jeff, definitely living up to his previous name as his flanker Jeff. It's still putting out a lot of healing himself, but the damage, the presence, incredibly powerful. Okay, here comes out Captain America leading the charge straight to the back line. I have Agamotto from the side of Outlast, only finds one or two, does not a ton. Here comes out Redis. What does he get? Nothing. Gamma shield gonna protect it. Jeff gonna get popped, but here comes out the healing from that Jeff ultimate, that 100 health per second being really impactful here. Outlast gonna get onto point with that Hulk. How much can they keep alive? This Phoenix gonna just be free farming from the high ground. Jeff actually gonna be kind of annoying, but that's gonna be a really fast kill maybe from Phoenix. No, this Jeff incredibly sticky. Here comes no more ult, doesn't really get anything. Phoenix does end up kind of just stop fighting that Jeff. Here comes the Phoenix ultimate. Okay, Outlast keeps it alive here.
Yeah, Outlast managing to flip the point here just with a really great genius set of like rotations on their ultimates there. They kind of made really efficient usage there. You also see a Doctor Strange portal go out from Busy at Work. They're making a last stand on this point because they know that this is going to be the last team fight for this particular round, and I think it's going to be a doozy, folks. Strap up.
Yeah, Tammuz actually not going to be able to stay alive on that Hulk. It does look like Outlast is actually going to lose this point here towards the end. Busy at Work going to barely find those early picks that were really impactful on the characters who had ultimates on the side of Outlast. And Busy at Work going to take it pretty clean. Going to have two ults for both teams leading up to this next point.
Yeah, Busy at Work securing that first round. That was really big. After losing that first team fight to Outlast, they just kind of had to take a deep breath, really reassess how they were going to approach this point, and they just managed to just consistently just be an absolute nuisance in that last side.
I mean, look at this Jeff, man. What can I say? Jeff is such a menace now. I'm really happy with the
that
changes
line
they
right
gave
there.
him. Well, that's a big shark right there. You might tell me that's a little small, but when you actually look at him in the perspective of other characters in Marvel Rivals, he's actually quite large. And looking at the scoreboard, he is quite large here as well. 14,110. More damage than this Ultron, almost double the healing of the Ultron. Definitely a menace for the side of Outlast to deal with. But he is very cute, so we have to keep that in mind.
Dun, 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 dun.
But good
W in the
mindfulness
chat
from
for Jeff.
Tamuz. Tamuz actually blocked that second Jeff ult with that Hulk bubble, definitely keeping that in mind. We see Outlast here gonna start on the left here. Oh, we actually see a swap here from Not Tyrell, gonna swap over to, actually both teams swapping over to the Star-Lord. Really good at controlling this high ground on the left, or I guess right, depending on which side you are on. But this high ground definitely really valuable for both teams, and as they kind of vie for the space on the high ground, it does look like that Outlast does get the upper end of it.
Yeah, I really like this. I really like this Star-Lord pick as well. I really think that he's kind of been a little bit undervalued in this season. I know that he's kind of been a little bit more popular, but I'd like to see him pick a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more flexible. I think he offers a little bit more utility for your team. Just offers a little bit more dynamicness. But right now, you see also Axry is going out. He's dropping right into the point, going to take care of that rocket ult, making sure that he's just pushing back the enemy team, taking control of the, locking down the area.
Well, that's a lot of damage. Busy at work, showing a showcase of how to deal with that Luna Snow ultimate. Big damage from Prince and SJW comboing.
Yeah,
Oh,
busy at
ultra.
work is busy at work is busy doing work.
Yeah, Busy at work really showing us how to put in the work to deal with these strategy ultimates. Doing a nice job, and actually both teams here have a lot of ultimates to deal with this next fight, but Busy at work at a slight advantage. Here comes out a lot of ultras. Here comes out Ritas. What does he get with this Jeff ult? Is that going to be one? That's 3 of his teammates and 1 of the enemy, but that's a Magneto, and that should be good enough to win the fight here. Basically nothing left from the side of Outlast. Once again, basically a spawn hold here from the side of Busy at work.
Yeah, that was a bit of a route there. I don't think Outlast is out of tricks here yet. I think that they're really adaptive. They're really dynamic. I just really hope that they're going to be able to find a way to get out of the spawn right now.
Yeah, Outlast not looking too great right now, but they definitely are thinking of something a little bit fancy here. The thing here probably a bit more effective than the Hulk that they were running, especially since they lost that high ground already and are trying to push out of their spawn. Here comes up the side of Outlast from the left side from the high ground once again. Let's see what they can get here. 3 ultimates to 1. Here comes out Tyrell with his own ultimate. Can he find the Star-Lord here? That's a Star-Lord pick. That's 1. Looking for 2. Gets 2. Very low. It's Doctor Strange basically dead on the back. Captain America taking a little bit of a tickle there. What can Tyrell find? Finds the Doctor Strange out in the open. That's 1 more. Not too much left for Busy at work. Busy at work actually completely routed. We just see this Captain America kind of running around with this Jeff, trying to stay alive together, supporting one another. Going towards the spawn of Outlast, but staying alive here. That's all that really matters. Keeping these angles open for Busy at work.
Yeah, Outlast came out swinging. They managed to take the point, flip it back. Now they need to be able to establish control of this map area right here so they can actually hold Busy at work, just like they were being held themselves. You see Timu coming out, being really aggressive. I really like to see it. Jeff and Captain America just doing their best to absolutely be nuisances. Axry is just constantly finding his way into the back line. I really like this. He's really staying head on a swivel 360 degrees.
Yeah, look at that pinch there from the side of Busy at work, but punch straight in the face by Tamuz. Oh, dodges the jump ult with his own ult or his own dash. They're becoming immune. Here comes the Phoenix ult. Not a lot of damage. Here comes the SJW. What can he find with this ultimate? Both of these ultimates going out, but SJW finding the upper end here. Look at that damage coming out. Basically nothing
So
left.
much
Phoenix is gonna
damage.
barely stay alive, but SJW cleaning up Outlast. Woo!
That was a clip, chat. That was what you want to see at this level of gameplay. SJW just taking control. The rest of the team just constantly pushing them back. This is teamwork at its finest.
Yeah, you might call them
That's a huge
Outlast,
stagger
but
on that raccoon.
that's a big stagger. Yeah, Outlast maybe gonna be out first here. Busy at work, still 3 ultimates left on the clock. Maybe Aunt Nancy might be able to use this Eternal Bond to run them to the point safely, but is that really a great usage of the ultimate? Maybe the Strange ultimate might be the big difference here coming into this fight. 1 defensive ult for Outlast, 2 defensive ults from Busy at work, and then 1 big Eye of Agamotto in the center. Let's see what both of these teams can find. Actually, just gonna run at the side of Outlast. Outlast just losing everything. trying to get onto point, doesn't even commit the Eternal Bond there.
Yeah, that's total heartbreak right there. There's an absolute collapse on Outlast side. That was really heartbreaking to watch. But they played really great. I love the way that they adjusted. They were really intelligent about the way that they chose their fights there. Tyrell really managed to take control after getting held in spawn there. Managed to give his team some opportunities, kind of take map control there. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough to pull it off.
Yeah, and we saw a pretty good performance from both of the teams there. I definitely think that Jeff pick was really fun from the side at Busy at Work, and SGW really showing up on the second round. And yeah, I mean, it should be pretty great. I think both teams did really good. Muff, do you want to talk a little bit more about these teams for a second while I try to get the next match set up?
Yeah, looking at this. Yeah, looking at the leaderboard here right now, we have Outlast getting routed by Busy at Work. They're gonna move on to the losers round 4, where they're gonna face off against Dawncore. Dawncore previously faced off against Ether. That was an incredible first match that we watched between the two of them. I'm pretty curious to see how Busy at Work's gonna adapt to Dawncore. Dawncore, of course, being able to. They came out swinging on that first match. They won the first team fight, and then it just kind of they weren't really able to kind of find their footing there. And so I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to find their footing in this losers round 4, bring their way back into the winners bracket, maybe perhaps win the first match, and we can actually see a crazy grand finals at the end of it. That would be a storybook ending, in my opinion, for the Cozy Cash Cup this evening.
Yeah, and the next match here should be losers final, so that will be Busy at Work versus Dawncore. We'll have to see the next match when it gets set up here in a second. I think we will be taking a quick break here while we wait for the next match to be set up, but we'll definitely see you guys here in 1 or 2 minutes, so definitely stick around, maybe take a quick break, go to the restroom, get a cup of coffee, and get ready for this next match coming up. We'll see you guys here in a little bit.
Joe.
And we're back with the Koji Cash Cup. We're gonna have this game ready for you guys in a second. Oh, I should change that. And update the bracket browser. We will be having the loser side finals between Dawncore and Busy at Work here. Let's get into the game here very fast. Oh wait, never mind. The game got canceled here for a second. I think they are actually missing a player, so we can talk here a little bit more about the map before we get straight into the game here. Muff, you want to talk a little bit about the upcoming map?
Yeah, let's go over this map. So we have Spider Islands. This is one of my favorite maps. I love this as a push map. You have a really fun straight shot down through that first choke point, or coming up on that first choke point, as I should say. It allows for quite a lot of cheeky little first iteration plays from each team to kind of establish what kind of match are we gonna have here. But anyways, as the map progresses, it gets a little bit more dynamic. It opens up with more height, more verticality. We love to see the verticality, and as we kind of come across this final point here, you see that there's a lot of high ground to make use of, and I fully expect both teams to make absolute usage of their positioning and find their best advantages.
Yeah, and this map is honestly very exciting. I'll skip a little bit there in the video here. I want to see how teams definitely approach this first point, especially as we can see here on the first point. A lot of teams do like to run a bit more tankier compositions. I've seen triple tank here a few times, triple strategist, triple tank, or just triple strategist compositions. It's very interesting to see how teams approach this, and we will be getting into the game here right now. Yeah, and we have here the losers finals. I'm not entirely sure why it's not showing up here on the bottom. I'll see if I can get that fixed for you guys here in a second. Okay, maybe it just doesn't like me. But yeah, while we're talking about that, we will be seeing the bans here. We do see the Human Torch ban once again, basically a server admin type character on a competent player, and definitely all of these players here are competent players. And with that Emma Frost ban as well and the Ultron protection, we are probably going to see a more triple strategist composition.
Yeah, I love to see it. I love Ultron in any forms of gameplay. I think he just adds a really nice dynamicness. He has a really good amount of damage output, and he's also just a really great pocket healer. Magneto gets protected here as well. You see, that's kind of that's a little bit more common, more standard kind of pick. Mantis gets banned. We've seen that one this evening. I think every single match so far. I think that there's something there. I don't typically come across too many mantises in my gameplay. Chat, maybe you've come across something different. Got a Cloak and Dagger, Cloak and Dagger ban. That's gonna make it a little bit more interesting on the support side of things. And we got a Jeff Protect as well that goes out.
Yeah, Busy at Work really showing an impressive performance with that Jeff. Should be really exciting to see them pull it out once again if they want to in this triple strategist composition. Mantis is very strong. I think that damage boost is overall pretty effective, but definitely her healing a lot better than it was in the previous patch, and they give her a small buff coming into the season 4 patch. So I'm definitely not surprised to see her show up in high presence here in these high level games. And Bruce Banner Band definitely wants to get rid of that team up. Maybe struggling a little bit with that Namor Black Panther, although definitely didn't show it Busy at Work. So we'll have to see how both of these teams want to approach this next map. We have seen both of these teams already in the first and second game. So let's see how both of these teams want to approach the first point on this map.
Yeah, I think both teams are going to kind of... Honestly, I think we might see a triple tank come out, just to kind of really establish that map control, just so that, Dawncore can breathe. But we'll see what they end up going with. It looks like they're going to go with a Magneto Groot here. Very interesting. Yeah, and you see Redis is going with the Rocket. Oh, he's going to stick with the Rocket Raccoon here. Okay, that's also an interesting pick. I loved Redis's his Jeff gameplay. It'll be really interesting to see his Rocket Raccoon gameplay. Outside of that, you have SE Legend playing Jeff. That'll be really fun.
Yeah, actually, interestingly enough, Busy at Work not really using their own Jeff. I'm a little surprised to see, at least on the first point, but yeah, let's see how both of these teams do want to approach it. Coming out from the right side of the opening, we do see Dawncore coming out pretty quick, but Busy at Work finding that really fast pick on Frostin, maybe a little bit too high in the air, flying too close to the sun. Getting picked off there. Dawncore again losing one more SJW in the front there, probably putting out a ton of value. And yeah, here comes that Jeff, another pick there. Dawncore losing 3, just 1 left in the backline, but that's essentially a free, or 2 left in the backline, and Venom gonna dive straight out as we see Sap kind of pretty far away from the point, honestly. So that's basically a full reset there for the side of Dawncore.
Yeah, Busy at Work just kind of ignores Sap for a little bit here. I'm curious to see how Sap's going to reapproach this. Oh, he almost manages to isolate the Rocket Raccoon there, but gets picked off himself. It's going to be a little bit costly for his team as Dawncore looks to establish a little bit of map control coming out of the spawn.
Yeah, nice solo pick there from the side of Dawncore. The strategists really keeping each other alive and getting that early pick. Here comes out that Rocket Raccoon beacon, that Sea of Beacon gonna find maybe not the greatest value. And Dawncore gonna have a pretty large advantage in terms of ultimates coming into this next fight, although not that many defensive ultimates, just one big one on the board. Actually, they only have one strategist, I just noticed. That is definitely a bit more avant-garde than what we're used to, and a big amount of damage coming out from the side of Dawncore. Here comes out this, tries to get that sniper SJW, does end up whiffing, getting nothing but air. Here comes a big Eye of Agamotto from Axfree, again, over the top. Oh, we do see a pause here. I'm curious to see what the issue might be.
Well, maybe we had a disconnect?
Oh, maybe a slight disconnect, but the game will continue. Here comes out Frostin with that Omega Hurricane. Not gonna find too much though. Busy at Work, gonna try to sustain, gonna try to restabilize with this Lunastone ultimate. Only 10 seconds, not 12 seconds in this new 4.0 patch. Let's see how fast Busy at Work can stabilize. Gonna have 2 coming back from spawn. Sap gonna commit this final judgment here on this Punisher. That's 1. Looking to track for a second, does end up getting 2. That's a 3rd. That's a big play there from the side of Dawncore. Just gonna take that little bit of extra time to clear up that environment.
Yeah, Sap managing to get a lot of value out of that Punisher ultimate, giving his team a lot of space here. But you see the Doctor Strange portal go out. This is going to give Busy at Work an opportunity to make something happen. Maybe they can really stuff Dawncore to make them have to reassess once more.
Yeah, that Strange portal being really effective for the side of Busy at Work. Gonna be able to quickly reinforce and take control of this point. Dawncore, once again, kind of a little bit staggered out here. Oh, big roll from the far side. Here comes out that combo with the Moon Knight. That's 2 kills. We barely have 1 stay alive. Actually, I think that the side of Busy at Work is just going to dive on point so they can get the reset. No, wait, no, actually, they're going to stay alive here. I'm not entirely sure why the Rocket Raccoon ran straight into the Moon Knight ultimate. Maybe a slight blunder there from the side of Busy at Work. Maybe a network issue. Maybe that's why we saw that pause a little bit earlier, but we'll have to see if that is a concern for later. But we do see here 3 versus 6 here on the point. Busy at Work at disadvantage. We'd see Strange running for the hills, but maybe he's going to run straight to the respawn room. But no, SJW actually going to get picked himself as he's running back on the respawn. Doesn't find a great angle, ends up getting picked.
Yeah, no, I really like what Zero Meta is doing here. He's managing to keep his tank alive. Oh, but doesn't get his ultimate off fast enough to save him and get him out of there. But for a while there, he was doing a great job. But as you see, Dawncore over here is just really finding their footing here. Maybe they can make this work. They've got 30 seconds to get this point cap.
Yeah, and I think Busy at Work is all out of the juice, but they do have 3 ultimates back, and they should be able to get 1 more touch here. Is there any Strange Portal? No Strange Portal. 73 seconds out. Here comes SJW. Just kind of stalling with his ultimate, trying to stay alive, I guess, for his team. But oh, popped actually a little late. Doesn't even get the damage. Pretty much cracking impact from Frostin. Gets 1 immediately. SJW outside of the circle of invisibility, dies immediately as that goes away. Actually gonna look for big Eye Mode, gets 2. That's big on the backline. Sap trying to keep his team alive with a big amount of damage. Doesn't end up getting too much here. I think it's Busy at Work gonna get a clean sweep.
I am ready to put on a show.
Busy at Work still doing it with Dawncore right now. Dawncore is just holding out hope, trying to maintain this point control. If they manage to hold out for just a little bit longer, that Ludo Snow ult is gone. Once more, they don't have that blanket of security anymore. See that Venom here is trying to do anything and everything he can. He gets picked off, unfortunately, and I believe that's probably going to be the end of it with no touch. Oh, wait, no. They still have one touch.
Oh,
And that's
not
gonna be the end of
enough.
it. Oh.
Not enough for Dawncore. Really thought Busy at Work was on the back foot there, but definitely showing a lot of composure, going into those last few touches and doing a really nice job cleaning up.
Yeah, as you said, Busy at Work really doing a good job of maintaining their composure. Just, anytime that they've lost a team fight tonight, they've taken a step back, they've taken a deep breath, and they've kind of gone back in with clearer heads, it seems, managing to constantly reinforce each other, be there. Their communications have got to be crispy. I would love to hear their comms.
Yeah, it should be pretty exciting watching these teams go into the next match. Oh, maybe an Angela pick here from Froston. I'm curious to see if we'll see anything a little fancy here, but I kind of doubt it here a little bit, but maybe. Nope, we'll just see the thing here, a bit more standard, a bit more practical, definitely easier to execute, especially since I think Angela is quite difficult for a tank in general. Being a flying tank, definitely not as tanky, and the damage is a lot more bursty than like consistent DPS. And actually, Axry maybe on this Angela will be exciting to see if it actually is going to be effective, especially with SJW on this Storm. Could use that double flying pressure to put some value on the board, and actually Regis maybe on the Iron Fist as well. This is definitely a very different comp than what we saw on the last round, and Busy at Work definitely showing some pretty interesting ideas here.
Yeah, this is a very obscure composition. You don't really see you don't really see this very often. And immediately they're coming out swinging super hard, but they get picked off. Dawncore managing to get two really key picks right here, right out the gate, and Venom's gonna have to come back and reassess.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too big for their britches there. Busy at Work going super deep, trying to push super fast, but this triple tank, triple strategist composition finding a lot more value than I think Busy at Work was expecting. Definitely a little bit more tanky and definitely a lot more sustaining than what they're trying to deal with. And yeah, this thing is honestly pretty effective in the front line. Maybe gonna get a picture. Ooh, runs into the wall with the dash, barely stays alive with the help of his team. I think that's Regeneration Domain gone. Yup, that's 30 seconds until the next one can be used. And let's see if this Wolverine can find any value. These triple Vanguards, not so great into this Wolverine. Wolverine just building that Fury on that wall, biding his time, waiting for something. Oh, but fast clobbering time from Froston does get matched by the side of Busy at Work. Here comes out the Groot ultimate to match. A lot of defensive ults here. Burn from Busy at Work, but SJW actually burning a pretty strong offensive ult. Dodges, nice dodge there on the Meteor M. Gonna stay alive here. Busy at Work gonna find a pretty strong route, but Dawncore, gonna get rezzed by the Adam Warlock, but we do see here, nicely done from Axry, gonna get that big Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah, Axry was holding that in his back pocket. He's been sitting on that Eye of Agamotto for probably about 30 seconds now, waiting for the right opportunity.
Another Warlock ult.
That's a big Warlock ult, is it?
I am ready to put
Another touch here. Here comes out Groot. They said 3 times the charm here, getting that pick on SJW. Immediately, here comes out another thing. Oh, second one for the count here of this very honestly long extended fight here. On the point once again. We've seen this story time and time again. 3 Vanguards, 3 strategists on the cart. Not that many picks coming out. Maybe one SJW early, but he's gonna already be respawned here. Ooh, Tree Man kind of a little bit out, caught by himself. A lone tree does not stand too long, and as we see these defensive ults from Dawncore come back, oh, Prince actually gonna isolate the strategist outside of it. Here comes out another ultimate from Adam Warlock, but does not get it in time before he dies.
Yeah, and that's huge for Busy at Work. You know, when you have when you're matching basically mirror compositions like this, you know, the name of the game is isolation. And Busy at Work just showing off why they're better at isolating right now. You see Dawncore right now getting ready to go in with another Doctor Strange portal, gonna try and establish it, and they managed to get 2 picks right out the gate. That's so huge, managing to be able to take control of this map point right here.
Yeah, honestly, a very fast opening. Maybe they're not expecting portal Busy at Work, but definitely does not react in time. That's going to take the win straight out of the sails of Busy at Work. What did they got? They got 1 minute, 10 seconds on the clock here. Are they going to be able to touch this triple tank composition? Really, really putting in the work here. They just feel like it's endless, born again. Your powers are mine, born again. We see tank after tank coming through the front line. Didn't know this was like okay, maybe I shouldn't say that, but definitely very effective at being sticky here. Here comes out this Omega Hurricane. Let's see what they can get.
Manages to get
Oh, nothing there but Omega Hurricane.
Regis manages to get a big pick on Magneto. That actually opens up the gate a little bit here. They might be able to get some snap control off of this. Oh, they
Actually over top once again, but another res! Here comes out the swarm of Vanguard strategists to touch the point! Here comes our clobbering time! Well, again on both of the strategists, barely stays alive with that Lunasil ultimate, but not that many defensive ultimates left. I have Agamotto over the top, only hitting tanks, not too much. Here comes out Last Stand, gets 3 people outside of that Invisible Man ult. Big picks here.
Oh my goodness, busy at work, just doing work right now. That was incredible. Doncor also still not going down without a fight. Constantly gets sat back there with his Adam Warlock just res
wait, did they go
res
point?
after
Oh wait, no.
res.
Oh wait, no, it's
They didn't have enough.
okay.
Yeah.
No, I forgot. Yeah. Oh,
That
I'm so
was-
invested
that
in
was
this
a
game.
Great round.
An incredible game. Wow, that was so close. I think if that Loki got that ult, another Adam Warlock ult, that fight might have actually extended into an eventual Dawncore win, but busy at work. Axfree coming over the top with that I have Agamotto. SJW building so much space with those Omega Hurricanes, doing a really good job. Being down these defensive ultimates makes it even more important to make sure those strategists are timing their ultimates correctly, and busy at work basically showing a pretty great performance here to beat this triple tank strategist comp from Dawncore.
Yeah, Axe3 just doing a great job. Knows his role as a Vanguard. Knows all of the characters, their ins and outs. You know, it's just really awesome to see somebody who can be really dynamic and a key player, basically a game changer. You know, as a player, and not only just Axe3. You know, we had Redis as well being a total menace on the Jeff there as well earlier, and you know, I think something is to be said for a team that's got 2 game changers on their team.
Yeah, and we will be getting into this next game here. I will swap back to the bracket here, and we will have this next game between, oh, actually, let me change that for you guys real fast. It will be the grand finals between Aether and Busy at Work. Busy at Work coming from the loser side will have to win 2 games. Yes, this is going to, actually, is this a rematch? I thought it was Aether versus Dawncore, but oh, it is a rematch, you're right, from round 2. It's going to be Aether versus Busy at Work. Once again, Aether actually sending Busy at Work to the loser side bracket. So let's see if Aether can hold their defending spot in the winner side, or if Busy at Work will claw 2 games away from Aether to win this Cozy Cash Cup. But what is guaranteed here is that Aether and Busy at Work are guaranteed that $200 minimum from second place, and they are now fighting for the first place prize.
Yeah, this is going to be a great grand finals here. I'm really excited to see it. Both Busy at Work and Aether are incredible teams. Not to be said, you know, none of the other teams are incredible in their own right, but these 2 teams are a little bit more special than the others. Both of them being absolute powerhouses. Aether was able to showcase earlier why they're still in the winner's bracket against Dawncore by, you know, that first team fight that they had. They ended up, they lost it, but they took a deep breath. They came back and they managed to just keep their foot on the floor. They were at 100 miles an hour the entire match, and they managed to pull out the W. And then also on the other side of the coin, you have Busy at Work fighting their way out of the losers bracket. They definitely have a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove. They're meeting their rivals in Aether, and I fully expect both teams to pull out all stops.
Yeah, it should be very exciting watching this next game here. I mean, while we're waiting for this game to get set up, we can Muff, we can talk a little bit about the map, since we do know what the next map will be here.
Yay! Map change. We have Central Park. We know it. We love it. This is a dynamic map. This is a convergence map. You have both domination and push kind of entangled into one. You're going to have both teams fighting it out for that first point, trying to establish control of the cart, pulling out that cart next, and you're going to push it to the first choke point where you're going to see a lot of crazy gameplay. You're going to see a lot of really dynamic usage of the verticality that's offered in Central Park. And then finally, if you get to that second point, that choke point right there at the church doors, all hell breaks loose. Essentially, you know, it becomes a little bit more wide open down an L-shaped lane, and then finally you'll have that final push up the staircase into the cathedral, where essentially if you can find your way into that final choke point, you know, the game is yours to win.
Yeah, and it looks like this game might take a little bit more time to set up, so we can either talk a little bit more about the balance changes or the new team ups, as we saw a lot of value, or like a lot of changes that have affected the meta as we have seen, or we can go straight to break. Muff, what do you want to do here?
Oh boy, putting me on the spot here. I
Yeah.
think we should just jump right into some of the changes.
Okay, sure.
Myself,
Let's.
as,
Alright.
as I said earlier, I've only put about 10 hours into this season so far, so I'm a little bit rusty. Let's brush up on what's changed.
Okay, I made a little bit of I guess, a tier list for the changes, although maybe not the most entirely accurate, but my general interpretations of the changes here. And I think the big ones we've seen, especially, are Jeff the Landshark, really finding a ton of value here. We've seen like 2 sets, I think, where both of the teams either are using Jeff or definitely have them in mind. And yeah, I mean, I think Jeff is one of the characters got big changes, and I did put Thor up there. I think his ultimate changes are really significant, but definitely still not up to snuff compared to the other changes for the characters. And I also put Strange up there. He did get a bit of a damage buff and a little bit of a nerf on health. The health nerf is, I think, a little bit significant, and that's why we haven't seen him as much. But still, the damage change, the reduced cooldown on his Maelstrom of Darkness, really effective. It prevents him from actually getting that dark magic debuff as long as he's keeping up on it. So it's a pretty big change. I think Winter Soldier, I put him in small buffs because I wasn't sure how that grounding effect on his that was it, the uppercut punch, I forgot what it's called exactly, but I wasn't sure how well that was going to translate into the game. But I think teams have seen a lot of success with it, so I think it's very strong. And yeah, I mean, other characters, I am not surprised to see. Mantis was already very strong, got a buff, so definitely gonna see a lot of presence. Ultron, already pretty strong, got a buff, right? Cap, I definitely think we see a little bit less compared to before. Same thing with Emma Frost, although Emma Frost is still probably the best tank in the game as of current. But the big drop-off I see is Loki, right? We've only seen a few Lokis here and there, but Luna Snow also getting a pretty heavy-handed nerf on her ultimate. 12-second ultimate duration to 10 seconds. Definitely a very impactful change. And yeah, as we see, teams still do value that Luna Snow. So yeah, and I mean, Psylocke as well, as we see here, did get a bit of a nerf on her right click, her alternate fire that shoots those projectiles that you can recall. That recall damage has been reduced, so we haven't seen her as much. And when we have seen her, definitely a lot less effective than she used to be. So yeah, we'll see how these teams want to approach this grand finals match with these changes.
Yeah, I'd really love to see Thor, man. I'm a big Thor enjoyer.
We see it every Cozy Cash Cup. I am a huge Thor lover. I love playing him. But he definitely falls more into like I think the nicest way I could put it is like he's more of like a fat DPS instead of like a skinny tank, you know? Like he's definitely much more of a big brawly DPS that can really pump out that damage, but is not nearly as tanky as the counterparts like Emma Frost or Captain America.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what they're gonna have to do to make him like really playable at the highest level, but probably still pretty effective in ranked play and like your general low mid elo matches. So I think he's in an okay spot, but we can talk a little bit more about some of the changes here for the team ups. You talked about a little bit earlier, Divine Armory, Angela, Thor. We haven't seen it yet because neither of them are particularly favorable picks, I would say, in organized play, but we have seen this Gamma Charge change from this team. It used to be Hulk in the More just by itself. I think it was called Gamma Monstro, and now it's called Gamma Charge. With this Black Panther added, so Black Panther gets a shield at low health, I believe, with like the Gamma shield. That's what it looks like. And it's on like a pretty long cooldown, but it gives him a bit more security, this Black Panther. And of course, for Namor, it gives that Gamma Monstro, that Gamma Squid, that shoots that laser that does a ton of damage. And yeah, I think those are like the big impactful changes. We'll have to see how they kind of impact the match. But yeah, I mean, that's the big changes for me here that I've seen at least today.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty impactful, the Gamma Charge, earlier when we saw it. Because we saw that Black Panther got a lot of value just out of his life. I don't even think we really got to see Black Panther charge up his ultimate, to be totally honest. At any of these given points,
I'm not sure we saw it. Just kind of there. I think maybe teams are kind of trying to feel out like
early picks.
Yeah, they're just trying to feel out his value in the early game, but especially like he dies pretty quick. Just swap off of him, swap to something with a little bit more later value, especially since it's like pretty easy to build the ult charge early and then swap because you keep 50% of the ult charge, maximum 50% of the ult charge that you gain on a character, like you know what I mean. But yeah, I think definitely the more Hulk is definitely the main part of that composition. Panther feels a little bit of just like an add-in, but we'll just kind of have to see as the meta develops. I think Panther is in definitely a bit of a weird spot. We've seen him quite a few times in these organized games. I think last Cozy Cash Cup especially, we saw quite a bit of him, but I haven't really seen a ton of value, honestly. I think teams are getting really good at shutting it down, and especially with the triple strategist and like yeah, mostly the triple strategist really makes it kind of hard for him to find a ton of value in this organized environment. But definitely in your ranked games, you'll see him taking some pot shots out of your team.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and yeah, we're just gonna be waiting here for a little bit, so I guess we'll take a quick break here. One of the teams is not entirely ready just yet, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. Welcome back to this grand finals here between Aether and Busy at Work here. Aether on the defense on Central Park and Busy at Work here on the offense here. We are going to get into the ban phase. Muff, anything you're excited to see from either of these teams since we've seen both of these teams already?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Redis does. I want to see if the team kind of bans and builds around Redis or perhaps Axry, because both the two of them together really dynamically, really, but we've seen them both out on the field, basically changing the game as a duo. And nothing, not to take away from the rest of their team. The rest of their team is backing them up. It's just these two are really making the difference here. And then also, alternatively with Aether, you have Castle, who's able to just, mirror and match whatever Vanguard he's going up against, and Smokesy as well. It's just being able to get around in those cheeky angles and get those picks. This is going to be a really fun match to watch. And right away, we see a Human Torch, Wolverine ban, and a Protect on Jean Grey. That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see this Wolverine ban. I think all the teams have either, like, we've seen a bit of Wolverine, but definitely not the menace that he used to be. I mean, still very effective, obviously, but yeah, we'll definitely be seeing this Phoenix from both of these teams, most likely. This team this map quite open, should be pretty interesting. Busy at Work gonna protect the Jeff that they're honestly kind of fond of at this point. I think both of these teams probably, I'm not sure about the Jeff, like, for Aether as much. I think they did find a little bit of value on it. I can't remember exactly, but okay, Cloak and Dagger banned, so definitely wanting to lean more towards triple strategist. Like, I guess the more damage heavy triple strategist rather than like the Cloak and Dagger big sustain old triple strategist. So yeah, we'll have to see how Aether wants to respond here.
And they're gonna ban Venom there. Perhaps they're a little worried about a dive composition, or going up against a dive composition, which is interesting because, I feel like Aether was doing a really good job against Dawncore, against their attempts at trying to dive.
Yeah, I think maybe it's like a reaction to the Jeff. Maybe because Jeff has that team up with Venom that makes Jeff quite a bit more effective on the healing side. And with Luna still protected, okay, so it does look like Aether wants to play a bit more of a pokey, generic composition that we've seen, like the more front to back composition. I think Busy at Work definitely looking to spice things up a little bit with that Jeff protection, keeping that Cloak and Dagger off the board here. Captain America as well, so yeah, I guess a bit more of a divey core here from Busy at Work.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting to see Jeff and Captain America again from Axry and Regis, respectively. Both of them were really just being absolute nuisances on the back lines and on the side, the flanks there as well. It's gonna be interesting. Ooh, we got a Bruce Banner ban as well going out. Hulk.
I guess really a bit more dive heavy. They don't want to really deal with that Namor. I think Namor definitely a really good way to shut down both Jeff and Captain America. So yeah, let's see how Aether wants to respond. Okay, so they do ban this Mantis once again. It seems like Mantis is one of your higher presence characters as of the moment, and especially with the triple strategist compositions, I think it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with that, there's quite a long ban phase there. We got a 3-minute ban phase.
Yeah, both of these teams really thinking about it. Yeah, and we'll have to see how they want to kind of organize their composition here. A little bit, it looks like Aether, Castle, and Rip are gonna stay on these more traditional vanguards that we always usually see. I mean, Busy at Work, maybe gonna switch it up a little bit with this Strange. Gonna try to open up some more of those backline angles early, especially since this map is kind of a little bit harder to approach, honestly, on this first point. Because this first point is a convergence game mode, so you have that first point and then you have to push. That first point only has one big choke point on the ground. You can try to get to the high grounds on the side, but they do take a little bit of extra mobility or like the ability to fly, obviously, and that makes it a lot harder. A little bit of extra time. Yeah, it takes a lot of extra time, takes a lot of extra just like resources across the board to get in as an offensive team. So I think the Strange is definitely a pretty nice compromise here. Oh, okay, so immediate portal here from Axray, maybe getting both a scout and a little bit of pressure here. Okay, Aether gonna back up immediately. They heard that Strange portal. We do see this Luna still going up to this high ground as far away as possible from his team. Well, not as far away as possible, but definitely on a more defensible angle. And this Strange portal gonna be pretty long out and gonna find that onto the point here. Gonna try to take this high ground immediately, pushing both players from the side of Aether, the defensive players, strategist players, off of this high ground, and I kind of turned into a more traditional game, but that is 2 picks there. One on a strategist, one on a vanguard. That's a big picks there, and Aether kind of just falling apart. Too Busy at Work.
Yeah, Busy at Work, just being really dynamic in how they approach their first fights here. I love the fact that they were really kind of chasing down the enemy team with that Doctor Strange portal there, trying to figure out, where's the best opportunity to put my team in a position to win. And you see right there, they managed to get there, win the team fight, they took the point.
Yeah, we actually see this, oh, I guess Strange is gone now, but we did see that Strange magic combination there for a second. That might have actually added quite a lot of value to their composition, especially since they're a little bit more burst oriented there going out into that first point. We're gonna see here, this Redis here, again, Cap and this Jeff on the side here. Wow, straight into their backline. Netroid actually just kind of sitting out in the open there. But not much presence here from Busy at Work in the front. Losing Prince there, gonna make it hard for them to hold that front line. SDW going very low, trying to get a little bit of healing from his Luna Snow, but getting pressured off. We do see her on the back line, this Jeff Cap. Gonna try to get a lot of pressure, but I think Cap's gonna go down here. Nice snipe there from Smooksy.
Yeah, very rare to see actually managed to find himself in the wrong position there and gets picked off. He gets actually punished for it by Smooksy. Smooksy doing a really great job of just getting value out of any of his angles. You know, he's finding value from front lines, from back lines, from flanks, and also you see this Ultron violence here.
Yeah, SJW also pops his own ultimate here. This Galactic Legend getting kind of shut down here by this invisible boundary. Okay, here comes Redis. What does he get? He gets 2 of his enemies here. That's both strategists. Gonna suicide off the map. That is 2 of them down. No more strategists for the side of Aether, so they're just gonna fall straight apart. Redis again showing an MVP performance here on the Jeff. Actually gonna use that time to swap straight to this Jean Grey, this Phoenix as well.
Yeah, Busy at Work gonna go to a one healer composition here. They are just put to the floor right now. I think they know that the Aether right here is fighting from the back foot. They're gonna try and keep him on that back foot that entire time. If Aether kind of comes into the mix, pops that Emma Frost ultimate, trying to get some value out of it, trying to see get anything that they can get. You also see the counter Emma Frost ultimate go out as well. The top of the Jean Grey ultimate, trying to get some type of value out of it, some type of damage. Doesn't get anything, but manages to rip. Ripple Panic manages to get the Emma Frost pick right there, and Magneto's ultimate doesn't get any value out of it as well either. This is great.
That Meteor M sucks up that Gru ultimate though, really effective. Busy at Work actually losing that pressure there during that Gru ultimate straight into the Meteor M. That's actually really impactful there for Aether, even though the Meteor M doesn't find anything on the back. Definitely, actually maybe mistiming that ultimate a little bit too fast to the punch there.
He's gonna have to slow it down just a hair if he's gonna try and if he's gonna find any sort of success and try and get his team into a winning position here.
Yeah, both of these teams really having a lot of flyer presence here. These Ultrons kind of dueling it out, putting a lot of pressure onto the back lines here. 3 ultimates, 2-1. Busy at Work gonna have 2 of their own if they wait a little bit longer, but Busy at Work gonna pull the trigger immediately. What does he get? Does bubble. Both the strategists, they're now death-balling it up here. Aether gonna try to, Rip actually gonna try to take out this Ultron from the, sorry, not the Ultron, the Star-Lord from the sky here. Commits a lot of ultimates here. Ultron ultimate plus this Emma ultimate, gonna be able to push that back. Busy to work, combo up with that invisible boundary. And both teams popped that invisible boundary. That Gru again kind of gets sucked there. I think that was by the shield, just normal shield, the metallic curtain there from Castle. Castle doing a great job shutting down this group, but unfortunately it doesn't look like Aether is going to be able to hold on. Losing Smooksy kind of early did hurt them a lot there.
Yeah, losing that damage output right there, losing any sort of damage output alpha on the field against a team like this is no bueno for you. But Castle manages to get a really good, valuable pick on his Meteor M before he goes down.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. That feels like a losing fight, and throwing that ult into there is like a little bit of a waste, I believe. So this Meteor M on the side of Busy at Work will be basically up when Aether has none. So let's see what kind of tank ultimates we can get from the side of Busy at Work. Oh, okay, never mind. Axer is actually totally fine here. I keep forgetting the left side does have a bit more room to maneuver, and yeah, Busy at Work does have 3 ultimates, and Aether has 2, but 1 defensive ultimate from the side of both teams. I guess if you count the Ultron as a defensive, it does as well. Prince gonna protect his Ultron ultimate. Does look for that Luna Snow, does not find anything there. Here comes Phoenix ult, wants to try to delete something, but actually gets deleted themselves. That Luna Snow ultimate from both teams keeping them alive, but I believe Aether is gonna lose theirs earlier. Busy at Work gonna stay alive for a little bit longer. Rip actually trying to keep their team pressure with that Psionic Seduction. Doesn't really get anything. Here comes the Axery whip. A big suck. Does end up trading. Not the greatest outcome that you would want to see, but SJW with this late ultimate. No more ultimates here from the side of Aether, but Aether does have that Adam Warlock to get that reset, so here comes another fight. Adam Warlock gone off the field. Defensive ultimates from both teams, invisible boundaries down, and not a lot of kills coming out because no more offensive ultimates. But who's going to get the upper hand as these ultimates run out here? I think it's busy at work. They had a little bit more value. Here comes the strange portal for the reinforcements. SCW over the top. Oh, maybe a little bit too big for his britches, but ends up barely getting out of there. Let's see what both of these things can do. A lot of ultimates here for Aether, and Busy at Work loses one. I think, oh, Smooksy using that melee cancel on the Phoenix Gray to get a huge amount of damage. Definitely going to be cleaning up this fight for the side of Aether.
Whew, yeah, Aether doing a great job there, and that Adam Warlock ultimate just absolutely saved Aether from potential disaster there. They were able to come back and win that team fight and push Busy at Work back. As Busy at Work is trying to come back in, establish a little bit more map control, they're coming out guns swinging, and also you have Ultron doing a nice little bit of a flank there. Gonna get some cheeky damage off.
Yeah, here's a Cyanotic Seduction from Rip to try to push back the side of Busy at Work. Prince has to pop his own ultimate to try to stay alive, not get hit by that stun. Oh, doesn't get grabbed by the Ender Frost here. Ultron also committed to the back, but does bait out that Lunaster ultimate to keep his team alive, but oh, not a lot of ultimates for Busy at Work. Actually, a few did come up here at the last moment. Here comes out this very late ultimate from Zero, followed up combo with STW, but countered by Netroid. Invisible Boundary gonna keep his team alive. Smooksy also gonna get some value with his ultimate, ends up picking off STW with Sealy. And as these ultimates, defensive ultimates are running out, I do think it's gonna be Aether on the winning side here, I think. Oh, but Psionic Seduction there from Axe3 finds one stun, but not a follow-up, but that is gonna be 2 picks, 1 tank down, 1 strategist down. There's not too much left for Aether as they try to backpedal. And wow, actually Busy at Work putting a nice performance out there on that last fight.
Yeah, Busy at Work really turned that around there at the very end. You know, it didn't really look like they were winning that team fight at all, and then just all of a sudden you saw those really key picks come out from Axe3, and I think it was Zero meta.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big one as well was, I believe Axe3, that Psionic Seduction was perfectly timed as they were backing up into that side room, popping it, forcing them to play very defensive. And because there wasn't that much like defensive tools left from either teams, that Psionic Seduction eventually breaks the shields of the side of Aether, and when they pull out the tank ends up dying, and the strategists are kind of left out on their own there.
Yeah, you know, the strategists that, you know, if they end up, 2 strategists can keep themselves alive, but you know, if you have too much damage output going out on them, they're just going to really struggle there, and it's really a key situation to try and isolate the strategists away from the rest of the team. It's a really good presence of mind and being aware of your surroundings.
Get ready.
Yeah, Aether finding a lot of value here with this Adam Warlock, but I think Adam Warlock did get picked pretty early there, I believe, in that last fight, or else whoever Chobe was on. So it was a little bit unfortunate for Aether that they did lose that advantage that they had with triple strategist, although you could also say that losing 1 strategist in 3 is less bad than losing 1 and 2. But yeah, I mean, let's see how well that Aether can push into Busy at Work. Busy at Work, 16 seconds left on the clock with a full push here. So let's see if Aether can match it.
Coming out, Smooksy is just gonna put a lot of damage out immediately. Might even.
Yeah, back on this Winter Soldier though. Yeah, back on this Winter Soldier. Let's see what he can get. Oh, that's a headshot. That's a lot of damage. Oh, tries to follow up, but doesn't actually reach to the high ground there, unfortunately. And yeah, looks for this hook. Peeks out. Oh, Magneto, nice block there with the Metallic Curtain. Barely keeps himself from getting pulled out and instantly obliterated by the side of Aether. And Aether, again, kind of getting stuck in this choke point. Definitely not as smooth as it went for Busy at Work, but they're slowly building a space, trying to take this high ground space with this Doctor Strange shield. And it does look like they are actually eventually going to get the space as this Magneto kind of runs out of resources and everyone kind of backs up. So going into Spec Room here, Busy at Work, this is definitely not the spot you want to be in against a team on attack. But here comes out Cracking the Pack. Nice dodge. That's going to be no follow-up there from Smokesy. Basically, almost a wasted ultimate. This Ultron ult just ripping through the side of Aether.
Yeah, Busy at Work, just establishing dominance right now, right out the gate. Aether was really split up there in the very beginning. I feel like if they might have just kind of pinged together a little bit more, they would have been able to isolate and capitalize more on that roughy damage that was going out.
Yeah, I think that Aether was trying to take that high ground but they don't really have a composition that can like run everyone the high ground, so they're just playing the people on low ground that couldn't get the high ground, and I think that was a little bit odd. They did end up getting to a really good position, but whiffing that Kraken impact was really not great with no support, and that really hurt them a lot. But oh, here comes the Psionic Seduction. That's gonna be 2. That's actually big on SJW, especially. Can he stay alive? Has to pop the ultimate to stay alive. Actually gonna pop his own Psionic Seduction. That's gonna be 2 into the ultimate from that Phoenix, and here comes the Adam Warlock to reset this fight. This is gonna be pretty good for building them more time, but definitely not putting them in a winning position just yet. SJW though gets picks. Sully finding a lot of these picks here, doing a really good job. Here comes out a lot of defensive ultimates, both defensive ultimates from Busy at Work. Here comes the Eye of Agamotto from Castle over the top. That's 2. Though these Lunasol gonna keep people alive, but Sully does have it for quite a bit longer. Smooxy has his own Kraken impact. Gonna commit it now. That's 1 immediately. 2 off the bat. Gonna follow up. That's 3. Gonna go for a 4 here. Or he's gonna get the extra reset before he dies. Does end up getting the extra reset, and dies gonna send the side of Busy at Work straight back to the spawn room.
Great job from Aether managing to tighten it up. That first team fight was a little kind of iffy, but they kind of knew what they were looking for. And that second team fight, they cleaned it up, managed to come in, isolate a few isolate a few 1v1s, get all of that damage sustained. And here, you see Busy at Work. It's not over yet. They managed to get that Dr. Strange portal off right before that 3rd point caps. Let's see what they managed to have in your back
That's
pocket.
1 strategist down, but that's not going to be enough, I don't think. Aether still has pretty convincing control of the point. Actually still capping here. Busy at Work needs to touch that point. They barely get that at the last second. Does end up losing 2. And as we see here, Busy at Work, these strategists stuck in the corner trying to keep their team alive, but that Strange Shield doing a great job blocking that healing, and eventually Aether does end up outlasting Busy at Work.
Yeah, Aether doing a great job just holding their breath and staying together, fighting as a team, managing to get themselves out of a precarious situation time in and time again.
Yeah, and as you see this actually just kind of scout out the composition of Aether. We're gonna have to see how they want to approach the second point here. Aether, I believe Busy at Work is a little bit more dive. Oh, they actually swapped off that Spider-Man for that last touch back to that Phoenix. And Aether here up 2 ultimates to none, although Busy at Work will have 2 of their own going into this next fight. 1 defensive ultimate from the side of Aether. Actually, Busy at Work gonna commit their defensive ultimate pretty early here offensively. See what they can get. That's Soulbone out to counter. Here comes that Castle over the top with Eye of Agamotto. Nothing. STW gonna use that ultimate to dodge it as well as stay alive. Silent Breeze and Netroid both committing these invisible boundaries. Not too much value. Trove is actually, I think, on the side waiting for the res here, assuming his team is gonna die, and it does look like it, because we do see Rita's gonna commit this Ultron ult to clean up the rest of the fight, but does not find the Adam Warlock in time for the res. Actually, no, Adam Warlock res gets cancelled.
That's so huge! And that's also heartbreaking for Aether. They needed that.
They needed that for the next fight, but again, they are pretty close to their spawn room, so not the greatest loss in the world. Gonna swap over to that drop. Oh, nice pull there on the Prince, kind of out of position, but does get support from his team and stays alive there. But does have to burn a lot of resources for that Busy at Work. Doesn't really have enough resources to hold this corner. Has to keep backing up and up and up. How much can they give before there's nothing left? But Aether gonna have to, or actually Busy at Work, I'm gonna have to go all the way to the back, go back to this high ground. So this is gonna be one of the last fights without Strange Portal. If they have Strange Portal, maybe 2 fights. But Busy at Work has 2 ultimates here. 1 defensive, 1 offensive. Aether, not so much, but we do see this Winter Soldier gonna have ult here in a second. Let's see what they can get here.
Doesn't get a lot of value out of his Bucky ultimate, gets stuffed unfortunately with Prince.
Just a little bit too fast there. Really a little bit maybe impatient. And here comes the Meteor M. What does he get? That's 1. The shield goes out a little bit too early, so Aether gonna be down 1. Busy at Work also down 1. But let's see what they can get. Ultron ult comes out. Gonna use it to dodge that Psionic Seduction. Does end up getting 1 more strategist. Only 1 strategist left for the side of Aether. What does Aether have to keep this push going? After getting this respawns back, Smooxy, no more ultimate, but does end up getting this Magneto. Not too much support left for him. Ooh, nice grab there by the Emma Frost there. Yeah, I guess Aether keeps enough steam to keep going. I really thought Busy at Work was gonna get a full route there, but... Oh, here comes out the Jet Bolt.
Aether is really good at responding.
What can he get? If he gets these guys off the map, that's really impactful. No dashes, so he can just throw them straight into the pit. That's really impactful. There's only 1 healer and 1 tank left for Busy at Work. They're gonna have to commit a lot of ultimates and stuff if they do want to hold this, but I'm not sure they'll take it. Here comes out Kraken Impact. Kraken Impact gonna get countered here by the Psionic Seduction. There goes Smooxy straight into the spawn room. Here goes that Meteor SJW going down to it. I don't know if that's enough. Here comes that portal.
Oh, this is crazy.
Ultron Ultimate finding another pick there for Aether. I don't think Aether has anything left. I think that's going to be it. That should be a pretty clean fight. Win there for Busy. Actually, another portal. Oh, just too late. A second too late.
1, 2, 3.
Man, what a match.
But that's not over
Both
yet, because
teams.
Busy at Work did
Nope.
come from the loser side, so we will be getting another game here. Definitely something has changed from the last time they've met in the winner side bracket. And yeah, I mean, a pretty, honestly, excellent performance there from both teams.
Absolutely. And, you know, we love to see that change, too. You know, team comes out of the loser bracket, they win that first match. You know, it's just like a game of 21 with your buddies on the court. You got to prove it if you hit 21.
Yeah, look at that damage on Ritas, though, putting out quite a bit of a performance on this Ultron. I think Chope was also on Ultron for a bit, definitely not finding as much value, swapping over to Adam Warlock and then eventually onto the Jeff. I mean, in general, I guess Ritas can, on this Ultron can put out a lot of damage in general. Very good at farming MVP, but definitely doing a really good job. Has 15 final blows, so or final hits, so yeah, very effective. Let's move over to the bracket here where we can see. Oh, I guess it's not updated yet, but
impressive performance from both teams. You know, Aether might have lost that first match, but I mean, as I said earlier, I think they do a really great job of responding. It's something that's really tough to do in the moment, especially whenever you have to be really poised and cool, calm, and collected, so you can think about what your next move is going to be. And I fully expect to see Aether kind of readjust, take their time here, and just find themselves in a winning position.
yeah, and because we're getting another game, we'll get another map here, and it should be very exciting as we're going to one of our favorite game modes for these grand finals, and I'll let you take a look here, Wolf.
Yeah, here we have Krakoa. This is what is this? Season 3 new map, correct?
Yeah, I believe that is a Season 3 new map, Domination map. We'd
Yeah.
love to see it in the Cozy Cash Cup.
Yeah, these are really interesting points. This first point right here, if you have that big wide open middle space there to take, it's a constant back and forth between both teams. You typically tend to see the match get a little bit more drawn out there. All of these points are really kind of out in the open. There's a little bit of verticality, but really it comes down to who's able to isolate the 1v1s or isolate the people who are out of position, so you can then capitalize. That's really that's the name of the game for this map. I think that's what's gonna really find a lot of success for teams on this map, and I fully expect to see teams build around that kind of mentality.
Okay, so let's get into the game and take a look at the bans here. This is where both teams put it all out on the line here. Domination map here, so it is King of the Hill style. Busy at Work leading with one game. Both teams now are in the loser side bracket in this grand finals. Both teams need to win 2 rounds of this first to 2 domination style game mode. And coming out with the bans here, very similar to last time, Human Torch and Wolverine here. Let's see how both teams want to approach it.
We see the Cloak and Dagger Protect as well. We haven't really seen that too much tonight, so fully expect to see either Aether or Busy at Work kind of take full advantage of her ultimate ability, being able to kind of control an area and establish a push for teams whenever they find themselves stuck in chokes.
Yeah, it should be pretty exciting. I really like the aesthetic of this map, and definitely seeing these teams approach it pretty uniquely, honestly, every time we've seen it in the Cozy Cash Cup. So Emma Frost Protected, yeah, it should be a pretty standard tank frontline. A little bit scary for those dive characters to approach, but with Adam Warlock banned, Busy at Work maybe a little bit different on their draft from the last time. Same thing with Aether.
Yeah, I think Busy at Work kind of took a step back, realized that Aether was really getting a lot of value out of that Adam, and so immediately they wanted to kind of take him off of the field. You know, it's a little disheartening whenever you win that team fight and then it's just all of a sudden you've got to do it again, almost immediately.
Again, yep. And speaking of again, I wonder if we'll see a Winter Soldier show up in this ban pick phase, as we did see Smooksy. Whenever they Aether did end up winning a fight pretty successfully, it was off the back of that Winter Soldier Kraken Impact resets. Although I guess the times they also did lose a lot of the fights was because he used it a little bit prematurely, but definitely a very powerful pick. I'm curious to see how Busy at Work wants to approach it, especially since I think they're doing a very good job at shutting it down.
Yeah, busy at work protecting their Jeff once again. I don't really think I saw too much utility out of Jeff from busy at work side, but I did manage to see that Sully with Aether was getting a lot of value out of that Jeff protect.
Yeah, I'm a little bit curious to see if there'll be an Ultron ban here or if it'll be something a little bit more different. Okay, I was thinking the Ultron ban there made a lot of sense, especially since both teams were finding a lot of value, but busy at work, Redis really finding, or really having Aether's number there that last round, so I'm curious to see. Maybe busy at work was ready for keeping that Jeff in their back pocket for Redis, and want to see how both teams will approach it. Okay, it does look like Aether might just use the Penny for the Rocket team. Okay, yeah, that's what I expected. So yeah, well, that's what we'll see. I'm curious to see what we'll see after that. But overall, I think both compositions gonna be pretty interesting because we'll actually get to see Mantis most likely.
Yeah, we've seen Mantis get banned in almost every single matchup this evening, so it'll be really interesting to see how Zero Meta approaches Mantis. He's been having a lot of success on Luna Snow this evening, so it'll be really fun watching him on Mantis.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, honestly, how survivable a lot of these strategies are, especially since both teams are. Actually, no. Wait, are we gonna see a Thor? It might be the match. It might be the day we get to see a Thor. If they are running a Thor, I'm curious to see what kind of support they want for it. Thor definitely a lot weaker just by himself, not as well, decently self-sufficient, but okay, never mind. False alarm. I got baited once again.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, chat, get ready to stand up.
Asshole.
Never mind. I'm kidding.
Asshole, come on,
kidding.
man.
This is the grand finals, chat. Stand up. The winner of this match takes home $300. If you aren't excited to see who takes home the Cozy Cash Cup tonight, then I don't know why you're watching. Stand up, let's get it. Immediately you see Jeff Redis managing to get out there, be a nuisance, be annoying. He's gonna try and get a flank with Axry. Axry and Jeff just being total nuisances.
Yeah, going pretty deep there. Redis going a little low, but keeping his team alive. Actually finding a lot of value. Actually, not a lot of heals on the back of this Venom right now. Gonna have to retreat. But Aether definitely in an awkward spot here. Their strategy is kind of bundled up in the corner. Let's see what this Venom can get. Pretty low himself. Maybe overextending a little bit, but not a lot of focus on this Venom. Kind of ignoring him. This healing from the Mantis definitely not as potent as the other strategists that would be available here. Here comes Metroid, very, very fast Cloak and Dagger ultimate. Gonna be able to push Busy at work back. That early tempo that we always see from Cloak and Dagger really paying off here for Aether.
Yeah, Aether's absolutely just being freaking like Iron Man, essentially, just standing 10 toes. Both of their supports were able to soak that damage from Axry, and also you see Rip just absolutely, you know, being the frontline menace that he's been.
Okay, here comes Redis. What does he get here with the suck? Nice cloak there from the side of Busy at work. Gonna have to run for the hills, Redis. Here comes out this Dance of the Butterfly. Doesn't find too much, but that's fine. A follow-up kill on one strategist, one DPS from the side of Aether. SCW does get picked as well during the entire sequence, but Aether does end up using 2 more, and I do think that is gonna be a full route there for Aether. Busy at work gonna end up taking this point here on the second fight.
Yeah, Busy at work doing a really good job of showcasing that, you know, they tend to get hit and then they respond pretty well. So we'll see if Aether can do the same. They've kind of done the same all evening. Anytime that they've lost a team fight, they've managed to come back and kind of flip it in their favor. So
yeah, Aether losing that fight, but definitely has the tempo here. 4 ultimates, 2-4 now, but they had a small advantage. Here comes Trill on the side. We'll see what we can get here. A Lunastone ultimate for, and okay, big Eye of Agamotto. That's on 4. That's gonna be 2 kills immediately for the side of Aether. Gonna really leverage that value with that Lunastone damage boost, and I think that's actually gonna be all it for Busy at work. That's gonna be another pick. Only 3 left. Venom goes down very fast. Regis gonna have to run for the hills on this Jeff, or I guess swim for the hills on this Jeff. Silent Breeze gonna end up getting picked. If he gets killed, that's a really late pick, and that's gonna help the side of Aether a lot. But yeah, I think Aether is definitely in command of this game.
Yeah, Aether is actually in command of this match right now. It's just they're really doing a great job of taking map control, and also the push and pull concept that a lot of people really tend to struggle with. They're really maximizing the push and pull right now.
Yeah, SJW completely shut down by Rip. The Psionic Seduction keeping them out of the way. Metroid, oh, actually getting sucked up by that Jeff. Can Jeff actually survive? Barely ends up getting out and gonna send that Cloak and Dagger straight off the cliff, but Aether just chasing that Jeff down to the ends of the earth, does end up cleaning up Busy at work while they were busy at work, I guess.
Yeah, we
Name drop.
we might actually see sorry, my brain just totally broke from watching that last engagement. That is just really, really great gameplay from both sides.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see Busy at work touch who is gonna be on the point. I think it's gonna be Axry, but Axry, yeah, Axry does end up touching the point there, swapping with Prince. At the end, here goes Axry deep into the back, all by himself. No more support, does end up dodging the 3, so he's gonna stay alive a little longer. Smooks gets caught out on the side by SJW. Nice 1v1, does end up getting traded though by SJW. Or sorry, SJW does end up following up the kill onto the other, you know what I mean. Okay, the fight's basically over. I took too much time talking, yeah. I was getting baffled by what was on the screen. Yeah. That Star-Lord duel on the side was pretty impressive. I was watching it a little bit on the corner of my eye, but yeah, Busy at work. This push in full tempo here. But what that means is that Busy at work, if we're talking about like a pendulum, it's gonna swing back towards Aether. So let's see what Aether can do here. No strategy ultimates for the side of Aether, so just a lot of pressure, but not a lot of defensive tools. So we're gonna see here, Busy at work pushing Prince, but Castle finding a big eye of Agamotto, but that regeneration domain from the Loki keeping them alive. Here comes Cho, looking for a pick on this Jeff, doesn't end up finding anything. Losing Prince actually does Busy at work, a pretty decent pick for Aether, but that's a lot of ultimates to be committed. Here comes Regis, what does he get? Gets only one, that is one tank for both teams. Jeff barely staying alive here, not gonna get that Emma off the map in time, I think. Barely sees alive here, teleporting, but let's see what both teams can get. Here goes the SJW, gonna try to hold on to the point here. Both strategies ultimates are out. I think Silent is a little bit earlier, so Aether does have an advantage in that regard. But Aether does have 0 meta. Here comes up the second Luna Snow ult. But Luna Snow, what can she get? Basically, not a lot here, as Busy at work does leverage that defensive ultimate advantage into a fight win.
Yeah, it looks like Busy at work was able to route Aether's comeback here. Aether was really poised to make a really strong comeback here. You hate to see it as Busy at work manages to seal the deal in this first match.
Yeah, honestly, I think something that was really awkward is when I was talking about that pendulum swinging back and forth that Aether and Busy at work were having onto that point. When Aether came back to their side where they should have had the advantage, they were down both strategies ultimates and they were synced up, which means that it was kind of at a really poor timing, because with no strategies ultimates to push in, they did end up losing a lot of that like fast push power they could have to get to point. Busy at work having actually having both defense ultimates by the time Aether even got close to having theirs meant that they could control the tempo of the fight. And with that ultimate advantage, like that defensive ultimate advantage, they're eventually able to strong arm Aether off of the point and eventually into a fight win.
Yeah, Busy at work, showcasing really strong teamwork dynamics, really strong ultimate management. Aether also doing the same. It's just it just seems like the team fights aren't really going their way.
Oh yeah, it does look like Axry is going to take a portal here. Let's see if he wants to go straight into the secret waterfall area. So let's see if Aether is going to be able to respond here. Oh, Trope might get the first look at the side of Busy at work. Oh, maybe caught out here. Nope, does end up dashing to safety. As Busy at work is going to come from behind here. A very fancy angle to be playing here. Let's see if it pays off for them. Aether does have the Psionic Seduction. Should be really effective with no ultimates from the side of Busy at work. Does end up picking up SJW immediately. Oh, get that Jeff. Jeff did not get away in time. Straight grab into the wall. What does he get? Nope, enough healing there from that Loki to keep them alive, but Loki ends up getting picked off the back of that. Just as poor Jeff against the world here, trying to keep his team alive. I guess the Luna Snow is also alive, but you know, we won't talk about that. Yeah, so this Jeff by himself here. It does look like Aether has this middle control. Actually not touching the point here. I'm a little bit surprised, but yeah, they'll eventually get control of this point.
Yeah, and that lack of control of the point right there.
They get the point here, but what did they get with the Jeff? Nothing. Big whip. Oh, actually, that's a reset. What does he get? That's going to be on 3. That's 2 kills immediately. Second follow-up. Another one for the books. What does he get? That's a 4th. Anything left for him to kill, or is everyone basically sent straight to the respawn room? It does look like that is going to be a full round here. Just going to use the Loki clone? Yep, Loki clone as a reset. Wow, this Kraken Impact getting a pretty scary amount of value here.
Yeah, Bucky just being a real menace right now.
Yeah, second line, maybe he could have gone deep, but probably would have died. Well. Yeah. But
I
yeah,
like
nicely
that. That was
done
really
here.
smart.
Yeah, staying alive here, definitely more important than trying to get a huge amount of value off the ultimate. Since Busy at work, he's looking as a trap, and Prince gonna drop down with the Cyanide Seduction. Gets 2, that's 3. That's gonna be 3 kills, most likely comboed with Axery. Venom ultimate being really effective at dealing a ton of damage. Aether got nothing left here. It's literally just the Star-Lord. And he's dead, but that was like 4 extra seconds, so not bad. Again, the pendulum swings back towards Busy at work here, but Aether, where's your ultimates? Where's all the value that they had? Busy at work being very economical in that last fight.
Yeah, and as I deal with my technical difficulty, you see that Cho is also putting himself in actually really good angles. I like how aggressive he's being. He's trying to find himself in a position to get the most damage output. I mean, as any good damage output, or as any good damage player should be doing, you also see SJW manages to get a really good counter pick on Aether's Star-Lord. That is really big in the middle of his ultimate, too.
Yeah, that should be a lot, but defensive ultimate's available for Busy at work. Again, that ultimate saving really coming in advantage, but Sully just in time finds that invisible boundary. Here comes that Kraken Impact. Right after this Lunar Soul ultimate, big value, that's 1. Gonna be 2. Gonna try to follow it up. Loki clone, that's free. Might as well get that 3rd pick there. There goes Venom, instantly dead. Another one, 1 more. Let's get 1 more for the board, 1 more for the road. No, we're good, okay. But that's a huge value, once again from the Winter Soldier, finding huge value for Aether.
Yeah, Aether managing to flip that point. They're just keeping themselves in this match. They're really hungry for that $300. They definitely are wanting to carve their names into the history books of the Cozy Cash Cut verse. This is really good gameplay.
Yeah, Busy at work here. Saving his ultimates didn't really matter in the super long run, but Aether, is the pendulum gonna swing back again? Let's see what Rita's can get. Here comes this ultimate. Oh, uses that Cloak and Dagger ultimate to dodge it. Gonna teleport with that Invisible Woman, so they're gonna only have 2 ultimates here defensively for the side of Aether. Doesn't actually get the Invisible Woman kill, but Busy at work kind of falling apart on the side as we're watching that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's looking like more and more like Aether might actually be able to secure this, and they stay alive. Essentially, you still see Busy at work manages to get a touch as well with that Doctor Strange portal. Can they
stay alive?
flip this team fight? This is the pivotal team fight here, folks.
Wait, Venom, wait, they're gonna take the point here. Oh, just barely stays, gets that point saved, but no, the timer's gonna be ticking now for Busy at work. Aether, not gonna be able to hold onto the point there as long as they want that portal getting grid value. Here comes out this, ultimate though from the Kraken Impact, or I guess Winter Soldier here. The Kraken Impact, let's see what he gets. That's gonna be a free kill. That's 1. Let's see what we can get for the reset. A bunch of people stacked up. Oh, Jeff got hit, but is that enough damage? Jeff gonna stay alive as long as he can. Psionic Seduction gonna try to protect his team. Silent does have to pop that Luna Snow ultimate to keep his team alive. Maybe a little bit of overlap on those defensive style ultimates. SJW a little bit late to the fight. Maybe see that Eye of Agamotto later. Another Psionic Seduction though from Aether. Aether looks like they're gonna clean up this fight. They have the point. Not a lot of time left here from the side of Busy at work. That's gonna be 1 second and that's over, I think. So that's gonna be down to the final round.
Wow, great plays from Aether, managing to just take control of this match from the very beginning and just not letting go. Busy at work, doing a really good job of responding to Aether. And at times it seemed like Busy at work was really gonna pull away with it and run away with it, and then just Aether was like, "Hey, wait, no, we're still here, and not for nothing, we're the ones dominating."
Yeah, Busy at work doing honestly a pretty good job, especially with their ultimate economy when they win fights. But again, like the pendulum swings back and forth. Aether somehow making something out of nothing, especially when they're down in ultimates, just finding good picks, good team play. So let's see how they're going to approach this. Busy at work at a slight ultimate advantage here, 2-1, and not a ton of ultimates getting close for either team otherwise. Like 50% out. Actually gonna swap over to the Screw at the last second here. Let's see what that can do on this map. I think the Venom into the Groot, I think the Groot might find a little bit more value on this map. Definitely going to be more effective at isolating those targets on Aether, as we do have this Mantis that's just kind of damage boosting people that can be easily isolated by those walls, but a lot of flyers as well, so Groot might not be as effective as we might expect. Oh, nice wall to block that portal there from the side of Busy at work. Here comes out the Mantis ultimate, gonna push them back in the spawn. I think the missionary's not unlocked yet, so this is a bit of a fight that has no purpose, honestly, but Busy at work gonna keep their presence on the point here and start that timer.
Yeah, I think Busy at Work's goal here is just to kind of get their points on the board first. Seemingly just trying to get yourself that advantage. Oh, that's a big eyeball Agamotto that you needed to get.
Over the top,
Lots
that's
of value.
3. One more probably for the road. That is a third. That is a fourth. That is a full route for the side of Busy at Work.
Wow, yeah, that's really, really good. SJW doing a really good job on their streams. And earlier, we saw Axley doing it. Now we see SJW doing it.
Yeah, these I have
It's basically like
Agamotto's.
Scott hip into Michael Jordan.
Yeah, these I have Agamotto's really finding crazy value. Oh, that Venom got canceled by the stun. That's so unfortunate for the side of Aether. Gonna lose that player immediately. Here goes Ritas though with the follow-up clean. And I don't think Aether's gonna commit anything else. So this is a very, very clean, very solid fight from Busy at Work. But you gotta feel bad for Aether.
Capture progress has passed the halfway.
Yeah, Aether is probably doing their best right now to stay calm in voice chat and kind of figure out what's going on right now. I fully expect them to be able to bounce back in the next.
Yeah, Aether still has her ace in the hole there. That hook there from the Winter Soldier. He does have Kraken Impact ready to go. If he gets a nice hit there, that could be the whole fight by itself. Only one defensive ultimate. One strategist is already gone. Not going to be able to get back on the respawn super fast. Here comes Kraken Impact. Over the top. Did he get his dunk of his own? Doesn't find too much here. Cynex Seduction kind of keeping him out of the way. But grabs out the Emma Frost. Doesn't end up getting too much here. Here comes the defensive ults from both sides. Smooksy not finding anything inside of this invisible boundary. But his ultimate's run out. Here comes the Axery. Trying to pull out this Cloak and Dagger outside of their ultimate. Doesn't end up getting anything but rip. Now finding this presence on point. Not too much, honestly. Kind of a wet noodle fight here from both teams. But SHW, here comes the Eye of Agamotto. Is he going to commit it? Is this the fight winner? Yep, probably with Metroid committing his own ultimate. What does this team have as the follow-up for damage? There is not a lot, unfortunately. That kind of whiffed pretty hard. But Castle coming back from zone.
Yeah, but right here, Aether has to fight. They have to win this team fight. Otherwise, this is going to be it.
Oh, there's not too much left. Smokesy by himself on the point. Here comes Rip to try to touch a little bit longer. But Busy at Work holds it out in the end.
Busy at Work, fighting their way out of the losers bracket.
Honestly, a pretty incredible game. Good adaptation from both sides. I really thought that Busy at Work did lose a little bit of their footing on that second map, but definitely finding it back in that third round. Did a great job, honestly. I think that maybe that group pick was the big difference that they needed. That was like one of the big composition changes that they made to find that kind of success. And yeah, I mean, but great job to both of the teams.
Yeah, Busy at Work doing a really good job of showcasing how important it is to not only pick the correct team composition against the enemy, but the correct team composition for your players as a whole. Axery just being really dynamic in any character that he played. Same with Ritas. Ritas was able to hop on and off support to, DPS and just constantly doing a good job of being really versatile.
Yeah, honestly, pretty incredible games from both teams and a great run back from the previous winner side game. And yeah, I mean, I'm honestly kind of baffled by the execution from both of these teams, but definitely Rita's putting in a lot of work on whatever pick he gets. You put him on the Jeff, he gets some value. You put him on the Sorleaf, he gets a lot of value. But again, I mean, just Ritas was not the MVP there. I think definitely every player had their moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. From Ritas all the way up to SJW, even Zero Meta was really clutch in popping the Luna ult. The Mantis pick I thought was a little strange in that scenario, but it actually seemed to work out and
yeah, and honestly, those are some great games. Let's go back to the bracket to check how it looks. Yeah, and we will, I guess it's not updated just yet, but we do have Busy at Work winning 2-0, I believe, or was it 2-1? I think it was 2-0, correct?
2-0, yep.
It was 2-0. Busy at Work showing a very impressive performance after losing to Aether earlier in winners round 2. So a great game from the side of, actually, honestly, both teams. They showed us an incredible game going down to the wire on the final game. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we get an interview here in a second if they want it. But yeah, we're just gonna be waiting here for a little bit. Anything you would like to talk about, Muff, or are we? We're gonna take a quick break to see if we can get an interview.
Take a quick break. I need to go get me
Okay,
some water.
cool. Yeah, let's go take a quick break. Y'all get some water, go to the restroom. We'll be back with an interview.
Stay hydrated, chat.
And we're back with the Cozy Cash Cup. We did get a confirmation that we are getting an interview with the winners of the tournament, Busy at Work. So we'll be getting there in a few seconds. So let's move over, Muff, to their chat.
Night. Put Kartu on there. Let him put the shiesty on.
Oh,
Hi,
what the
let's
hell
call
y'all
to the-
doing?
Hello.
Alright, hold on.
We came in at a good time, I hope. How are you guys feeling
Careful,
about
Manatee,
after
they're putting
winning?
on the shiesty.
But yeah, how are y'all feeling after winning that last game?
Great,
Right.
as always.
Very good.
Nice, that's good. Okay. Have y'all seen or participated in the previous Cozy Cash Cups? Was there any expectations you guys had coming into today's tournament?
One last one we were in, one this one we were in.
I see. I think I saw you guys sign up for a previous Cozy Cash Cup, but I don't think you guys made it that week. I was just curious if that was actually like
Oh, yeah, no, it was
that
Ignite.
correctly.
I think we had
It was
MRC.
Ignite. It was Ignite.
Oh,
It was Ignite.
I see.
Ignite.
No, I see. That makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Okay. How are y'all feeling about this new patch? I know it's a big.
Horrible.
There's a lot of changes.
It's so boring.
Boring? I mean, at least there's some new
Triple
characters.
support
right?
every game.
Okay. You know what? That's fair. Was there any like major changes that made you guys change your approach for this tournament?
Triple support is broken and is going to be in every single Ignite ever.
Yeah, I kind of figured as well. I think it's very strong, especially since we saw a lot of the games from today.
Yeah, if Jeff the Landshark is OP, then something's wrong with the game. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it is fun to see him sometimes, though, at least from a caster perspective, because we don't really get to see him as much.
It is fun to play with the Jeff. It is fun to play with the Jeff. Against the
Yeah.
Jeff, nah, but with the Jeff, yeah.
Against the yeah, that's fair. Against the Jeff, definitely a lot of more frustrating. Okay, if y'all can give any character a skin in the game, what character and skin would you give them?
Give Star-Lord a legendary skin.
Give Angela a Junker
Ooh.
Queen skin.
Put Junker
okay.
Queen in the game, matter of fact.
Junker Queen is a very fun tank.
Give. I want,
Yeah, I'm trying to think right now as
Emma
well.
a good skin. Give Emma.
Yeah,
a good
Emma has
skin.
the
Emma
worst
needs
skins
a
in the
good
game, bro.
Skin.
Yeah.
Emma needs a good ass skin. That's what she needs.
Yeah, I mean she's pretty popular as well, so definitely would sell quite
Yeah.
well. Surprised they haven't given her like some great skins.
Me too.
Because Emma has so many like cool like outfits and shit and like the actual like comics and stuff, and they gave her the most boring Phoenix Force skins.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. Were there? Oh, sorry. What do you guys think was the most important factor for your success in today's Cozy Cash Cup?
Playing triple support. Triple support.
Triple
is-
One of our
support.
DPS leaving VC and just playing out of VC, I think.
Yeah, one of our DPS had a headache, so he didn't feel like talking.
I had to do a mental
Oh.
reset after the first loss.
I see. I mean, you guys did a great job bouncing back, especially after like during the matches. You guys held your composure quite well.
Oh, we did lose. Wait, we did lose.
You
didn't
get-
I forgot
You
we
guys lost. Yeah, you
Yeah,
lost in
my
that
bad.
first or in the
My
second
bad.
I
matchup.
forgot we
My
lost.
bad.
But you guys lost a couple of team fights there that I thought like were really going your guys' way, but you guys did a really good job of like staying composed because you would come out the gate and then you would immediately flip it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely forgot we lost that. We were trying to new comp. We saw someone do play something, so we were like, let's play it.
That was another thing that I
No,
noticed that you guys were playing off meta comps, which was actually really fun to see. At one point, I think it was you guys almost picked Thor. You guys were almost gonna rock with Thor, and me and Manatee were losing our shit.
We never get to see Thor.
Listen,
I really want to see it.
Thor's broken this season, okay?
Wait, really?
Thor's broken.
Or, are you capping?
I'm just,
or-
I mean,
No,
nah,
no,
I'm
Is
just
he
joking.
actually
I think
good?
it's more like a ranked character. It's
Yeah,
like, it's
that's
like,
fair.
it's like, you know,
Iron Fist,
on
bro.
a,
It's literally
yeah,
Iron Fist. Iron Fist
yeah.
is really broken and ranked, but so is
Like
Mm,
Thor.
Thor's
fair,
gotten
fair.
like 7 micro buffs in the last like seven patch notes. So he's
Micro buffs.
eventually gonna be
They're
good.
just
Dude, his
buffs.
ult is insane now. Yeah,
Yeah,
the new
now-
changes to
yeah,
his
now
ult
he's
is
really
nuts.
good.
Yeah, you said 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7. 6,
Yeah,
7.
yeah. It's crazy though. Okay. Was there any like major challenges you guys ran into during your games, or like were you guys like mostly chilling?
You should
Nah,
look at
Mostly chilling,
Look at
but
Charisma.
like,
Charisma. Look at Charisma's stream.
yeah, look at Charisma's share screen right now.
Those are our challenges.
That's
Yeah, y'all were
Yeah,
definitely gaming.
This was my team's challenges.
Okay.
a good point, Kurt.
Yeah. Finally, is there anything you'd like to say to future teams in future Cozy Cash Cups? Is there anything you want to let them know?
The front to
Don't
back
don't
thing,
put us on
actually.
front to back comps.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
not put us. Do not put us on that. Impossible to play.
Fair enough. Hopefully, triple
group player
strat.
sucks. No, you're okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
never
Hopefully, we
play us
see
under.
triple strategy get a little bit weaker. I think the games are still pretty great today, though. There's definitely a lot of like great team strategy and whatnot, and you guys definitely played some great games.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for the for staying for the interview as well. Hopefully you guys have a great day, and you guys are gonna have that $300 cash prize. So hopefully you guys do some great stuff, aka buy food. That's what most teams do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Wingstop
are
for
yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
We are
We're
eating
getting
tonight.
busy tonight.
Wingstop for everyone.
On you, right, Zero?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, it sounds
Saturday
like a
night
good
wing
time.
stop with the boys. What? Am I invited?
I mean, you guys can come.
If you give us the other 200 that the second team get, then yeah, you guys can come through.
All right, I can't bring that, but I can bring banana bread, dude.
Oh,
my
wait, yeah, I get
God.
Come on, get in here.
Like frozen too? That shit's so good cold.
Yeah, I mean that kind of slaps, but
JW?
we're gonna
That
have to.
shit's so cold. It's so
Yeah,
good cold, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna have to finish up the stream here real fast. So we'll see you guys hopefully in the next Cozy Cash Cup. You guys did a great job, and yeah, that's all I really got. You guys did great. Like I can't really think of
thank you for
anything that
listening.
I could really criticize, and yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
boss.
you.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you for
Okay,
hosting.
Muff, let's move over to channel 12.
Not enough minerals.
Okay, cool. And Muff is back. We get to do our little caster talk before the end of the stream here. So that wraps it up for today's tournament. Oh, actually, let me move over to bracket so you guys can get a little bit of a look. Hopefully it's updated by now. Okay, it's not, but it's okay. So that wraps it up for today's tournament. Congrats to Busy at Work for winning this week's $300 cash prize, as well as Aether for winning $200 for second place. You guys both played an incredible game. And definitely thanks to all the other teams as well, including Nothing to Prove, Purple Panthers, Outlast, XQT, Red, Dawncore, and FXHND for coming out for today's tournament. We definitely can't do it without you guys. A big thanks to MASH, our Cozy Cash Cup tournament organizers, to Muff here with me, helping me co-cast the stream, and to Avalanche for sponsoring today's stream. A massive thank you once again to those teams and players who come out to participate. And finally, to all of you viewers out there watching our stream, we really can't do this Cozy Cash Cup without you guys. If you're interested in joining the next Cozy Cash Cup, be sure to join our Cozyverse Discord or follow our X for updates and reminders. You guys can see that in the banners below in our stream description if you guys are interested. And as we sign off, we'll leave you today with some highlights from the games we have watched today. Is there anything you'd like to say before I do the sign off?
Not really. Just want to say a huge shout out, big thank you to MASH, Compound on that, and huge shout out to Avalanche and all of our competitors as well. Without any of you guys, none of this happens, as Manatee said. And I also want to give a big shout out to Merciless Esports. Thank you so much for the opportunity to represent you guys at any particular level, and I'm just happy to be here. Can't wait to see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, and with that, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Stay cozy. Hoosier here, as you can tell, they're a bit flustered here.
Yeah, let's see if Treeman here can group diff Castle. Castle is saying, hey, look, I see and I respect your group, but I raise my group.
On the Winter Soldier, just kind of take control of the game. That's 2. He's going for 3 with that Kraken Impact. That is 3. Can he get any more? But there is nothing more to get as Aether falls apart. Nicely done there from Dawncore.
Yeah, Frost has to show.
Let's see what either team can get. Not a lot of kills. Here comes that Strange Portal for the reinforcements. Let's see what they can get. We do see 2 picks coming out from each side. Dawncore gonna keep 1 more alive though. And Aether loses 3. That should be the rest of the fight over. On the side. And want to see how these fights kind of open up, as Smokesy is definitely zoned out here by this Punisher, the natural predator to the side. Like Bloods jumps down to his team to try to peel off that Venom. Nice pull there from the side of SE Legend. Does end up finding that early pick. Dawncore finding Rip, trying to use that Psionic Seduction, immediately gets picked off here. Dawncore gonna lose 2 of their own though, as a nice follow-up from this Winter Soldier. This Kraken Impact finding 2. Phoenix Ult gonna shut that down immediately though. And Aether really finding their footing here on the attack side. That's 3 picks, 4 picks. That should be a very easy cleanup there. And with that 4th, 5th, and 6th pick, that should be the second point basically guaranteed.
Yeah,
For the 3rd ultimate, Cloak and Dagger gonna try to stay alive, but nice follow up there, really showing the patience of this Winter Soldier player. And here comes out the 3rd pick, keeping an in their spawn. Another Winter Soldier ult to stall, but nicely done from the side of Aether. Castle is gonna be the last man surviving, just gonna run away here. Actually, never mind, the Psylocke was still on point, but a big reset there for Dawncore. 3 minutes left on the clock for Aether, but a lot of ultimates from the side of Dawncore to keep them away. Reset doesn't get the reset, but that is basically a full route. Nice knockup to the back here. That's going to be a very long reset if he gets this kill. That's going to be 10 extra seconds for Aether to spend and walk back to point.
Yeah, excuse me, Invisible Woman and Punisher ult covering that. Let's see if we can get any value out of it. Child is just out here shooting into the wind right now.
That was a great IF unload.
Yeah, it was. He gets the team wide.
Up for Dawncore, nice. Nice gamma, whatever it's called there, that sends him to the banished realm. And with Aether having that early ultimate, I don't think Dawncore can hold on.
Finding a lot of success, getting in and out. And you also see Redis with a big Jet ultimate going out. Is he gonna manage? Gets 1, gets 2, gets 3.
Really fast kill, maybe from Phoenix. No, this Jeff incredibly sticky. Here comes no more ult. Doesn't really get anything. Phoenix does end up kind of just stop fighting that Jeff. Here comes the Phoenix ultimate. Okay, Outlast keeps it alive here.
Yeah, Outlast managing to flip, locking down the area.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Busy at work showing a showcase of how to deal with that Luna Snow ultimate. Big damage from Prince and SJW comboing. But let's see what both of these teams can find. Actually just gonna run at the side of Outlast. Outlast just losing everything. Trying to get onto point. Doesn't even commit the Eternal Bond there.
Yeah, that's total
Judgment here on this Punisher. That's one. Looking to track for a second. Does end up getting two. That's a third. That's a big play there from the side of Dawncore. Just gonna take that little bit of extra time to clear up that environment. Here, M gonna stay alive here. Busy at work, gonna find a pretty strong route. But Dawncore, gonna get rezzed by the Adam Warlock. But we do see here, nicely done from Axri. Gonna get that big Eye of Agamotto.
yeah.
Kind of a little bit out caught by himself. A lone tree does not stand too long, and as we see this defensive ultimate from Dawncore come back, Prince actually gonna isolate the strategist outside of it. Here comes out another ultimate from Adam Warlock, but does not get it in time before he dies.
Showing off why they're better at isolating right now. You see Dawncore right now getting ready to go in with another Doctor Strange portal. Gonna try and establish it, and they managed to get 2 picks right out the gate. That's so huge.
Tanks, not too much. Here comes out Last Stand. Gets 3 people outside of that Invisible Woman. Big picks here.
Oh my goodness. Busy at work, just doing work right now. That was incredible. Dawncore also still not.
Strategist for the side of Aether, so they're just gonna fall straight apart. Regis again showing an MVP performance here on the Jeff. Actually gonna use that time to swap straight to this Jean Grey, this Phoenix as well.
Yeah, Busy at work gonna go to a 1.
Let's see what both of these teams can do. A lot of ultimates here for Aether, and Busy at work loses 1. I think, Smooksy using that melee cancel on the Phoenix Grey to get a huge amount of damage. Definitely going to be cleaning up this fight for the side of Aether. Not a follow-up, but that is going to be 2 picks, 1 tank down, 1 strategist down. There's not too much left for Aether as they try to backpedal. And wow, actually Busy at work putting a nice performance out there on that last fight.
Busy at work really turning that around.
Dodge, that's going to be no follow-up there from Smokesy. Basically, almost a wasted ultimate. This Ultronal just ripping through the side of Aether.
Yeah, Busy at work just establishing dominance right now. Right out the gate. Aether.
A bit longer. Smokesy has his own Kraken impact. Gonna commit it now. That's 1 immediately. 2 off the bat. Gonna follow up. That's 3. Gonna go for a 4th here. Are he gonna get the extra reset before he dies? Does end up getting an extra reset, and dies. Gonna send the side of Busy at work straight back to the spawn room. Be available here. Here comes Metroid, very fast Cloak and Dagger ultimate. Gonna be able to push Busy at work back. That early tempo that we always see from Cloak and Dagger really paying off here for Aether.
Yeah, Aether's absolutely.
But the second Luna Snow ult, but Luna Snow, what can she get? Basically not a lot here, as Busy at work does leverage that defensive ultimate advantage into a fight win. For the books, what does he get? That's a 4th. Anything left for him to kill, or is everyone basically sent straight to the respawn room? It does look like that is going to be a full round here. Just going to use the Loki clone? Yep, Loki clone as a reset. Wow, this Kraken impact getting a pretty scary amount of value here. Gonna try to follow it up. Loki clone, that's free. Might as well get that 3rd pick there. There goes Venom, instantly dead. Another one more. Let's get 1 more for the board, 1 more for the road. No, we're good. Okay. But that's a huge value once again from the Winter Soldier, finding huge value for Aether.
That advantage. Oh, that's a big eyeball.
Over the top, that's 3. 1 more probably for the road. That is a 3rd. That is a 4th. That is a full route for the sign of Busy at work. Claire immediately, here goes Ritas though with the follow-up clean. And I don't think Aether is going to commit anything else. So this is a very clean, very solid fight from Busy at work. But you gotta feel bad for Aether.